We're already live. We're live. I want to see if you can hear me well, or do I have to lower the volume just a little bit? I lowered it a little bit because I don't want it to touch any red lines. Let's go to the audio, to the video. I mean, if you can hear me well, tell me. If it's too loud, tell me also, and I'll turn it down. I spoke loudly today because if you can hear me that it's too loud, tell me. If it does not distort anything, then that's fine. Very well. If it is loud and clear, that's fine. The problem is when there's distortion. Shabbat Shalom to each and every one of you, my friends, honorable judges, LVE tribe, as well as everyone listening. On this so precious day of Shabbat from California, the U.S. of North America, today on a radiant day, I believe it's the first one where it's really an actual summer heat. Temperature's going up. I put the AC on, and I put it in case it goes up a bit because it's already pretty hot. This Shabbat belongs to the last Shabbat of Ziv or Ishar, and now I'll tell you when the moon will come up of the year 5992 of creation, belonging to the 17th of June of the year 2023. And we are studying a rather spectacular series called Revelation 17, precisely the part 35. And today is Seals, Trumpets, and Plagues, part 8. I don't know if I'll complete the study today because I had many things to say, aside from the study, but at least we're going to advance at least one more chapter, and if not, we'll complete it next Shabbat. Without any further ado, let us seek the presence of our Elohim. Beloved Yahweh, we give you thanks for this so precious Shabbat. We give you thanks because you always guide us, because you inspire us, because you are always showing us the truth in Scripture. We are waiting for this final end. We're waiting for you to act. We're waiting for everything that you have promised to the children of Elohim. And today we shall study yet another chapter of this precious and magnificent and terrible end that we are living today here on earth in your precious name, our husband Yahweh Sabaoth. Alleluia. Today we're in the Omer countdown, week 6. This week ends day 42. We have the last week, which will begin when the sun goes down. Some of you have already began it. It's the 7th week, and the next week, next Shabbat, when the sun goes down, it'll become Shavuot Shabbat. That's very important for all of you who still work like slaves and all the rest, or prostitutes and all the rest, because everyone prostitutes themselves working out. All of you that work, ask for the day for free to your masters, your lords, your bosses, for Sunday is Shabbat. Next Sunday, not this one, not tomorrow, next one. So then I'm advancing the warning from now so that in your you can ask your slavers to ask for mercy and pity and for them to leave you free to not work on that day because you want to worship your Elohim. As though people of Elohim would say, ask for that day for free. Very well. This week, the following members of the Eternal Truth have had birthdays: Alfredo Paisa, El Salvador; Jairo Lopez de la Cruz, Guatemala; Felicita de la Cruz, Mexico; Carmen Alicia Nubia Espinoza, Venezuela; Jorge Iraira, Chile; Flor Maria Espinosa Luna, Costa Rica; Sara Garcia, the U.S. of A.; Oslanger, I hope it's pronounced that way, for it's a G; Oslanger Joliet Usuga Tejeda, Venezuela; Crispin Hernandez Cortez, Mexico; Jefferson Lombardi Isano, Peru; Jesus David Calvachi Gonzalez, Colombia; Leslie Lopez Perez, Guatemala; and Elias Moises Rios, Argentina. For each and every one of you, a great big hug. many congratulations, and we hope that it's the last birthday you have under this Babylonian system. The next one comes, which is, we hope that it is the masters of the system. This is my desire and the whole desire of the eternal truth. So then, in the meantime, we can send you a great big hug to each and every one of you. Very well. I'd have to communicate a very sad news. Her parents, Jesus Herrera and Astrid Sandoval Herrera, asked me that I communicate this. It is some news that really made me sad this whole week, made me think a lot. Last Shabbat, precisely 1 week ago, passed away Aleya Santa Herrera. Aleya, or Aleya Chantal, was only 17 days of life, and we had welcomed her 2 weeks before that. And due to those things that Yahweh guides, because I could say that he has life, fate, but because of those things that Yahweh guides, she stopped breathing and stopped existing last Shabbat, precisely before the subject began. They let me know either way, since they hadn't told me for me to announce it or anything. I didn't say absolutely anything. But the whole study of last Shabbat, we already knew the news, the sad news. It is a pain that only the parents can understand, and we're only here to accompany our lineage, our colleagues, and all the rest in their pain. So all of you who would like to give them your words, condolences, and all the rest, you can speak with them. They had not even wanted to announce it publicly, because just to announce it, it awakens a whole lot of emotions that they're trying to surpass. So then a great big hug for you, for Jesus, for Astrid, all the things, which always sounds, that one says, it would seem already, all things, it sounds like a cliche that all things help us for well, but it's, even if it's, I'm not insensible, I'm trying to, I hope that a healing gets to our soul, our spirit, and that there's a closing, because otherwise, aside from the loss and the pain, other things start that could be even worse for us. So then we have to try to heal what happened, and heal, so that it's not a greater damage. That is what I'm trying to say with my words. We have to give it a closure. We have to stop to think that it was the best thing that it could happen in our lives, even if it would seem insensible, illogical, inhumane. It was the best thing for each and every one, every person. When a son or daughter dies and so young, a newborn actually came to teach us something, to show us something, so that we can surpass things in something. We have to see it that way. Very possibly it is so. And Elohim is the owner of life. He's the creator. He does what he wants. If we rebel against that, we don't heal. If we accept that as a part of life and as a blessing, even if we don't see it, then a healing starts. When we least expect it, that pain became a nice memory, a hope of that what I lost, it's not lost, but a healing comes, because if we don't heal ourselves, more of a pernicious damage is given to our body. But my great condolences, and also I'd like to found both Jesus and Astrid hope, the greatest hope and healing, to place that like the King David. It has nothing to do with this situation, of course, but King David, with the son that he had, it died. He put perfume on, and he said, that's it, I'm not going to fast anymore. It's a final period. It's very easy to say. He said, yeah, it's too easy for you to say. That's what you have to do. Whether I pass through it or not, that's what we have to do. a final point. It's over. I cried for a little bit, and from here on out, we rebuild. And that is pending to be able to recuperate it. And a healing starts in the soul. It's a work that we have to do. So then, this sad news, I share it with you. But also, and what I'm about to say now, from here on out, it started to resound. And yes, before saying this, let's place this in the middle, a better note. We thank Jenny Castro, or Lopez. She's still Castro Lopez. Jenny Castro Lopez. It's Lopez. Okay, forgive me. I knew her as Jenny Castro. Jenny Lopez. And so Jenny Lopez sent us this salsa of peppers, Japanese peppers, fresh Japanese peppers. Okay, it's chile de árbol, which is very much like it. Right, it's chile de árbol. They also call it the Japanese pepper, right? The Japanese are going to come and say, the Japanese people are going to come and say, hey, wait, hold up a minute. Okay, it is from chile de árbol, fresh one. Salsa macha, they call it salsa macha. Jenny Castro made it. Salsa macha, I know. Which was better, Jenny Castro, Zelda Macha, salsa, which sounds like a male salsa. And her last name, Castro, means to castrate. Today, we'll try this sauce, the matcha sauce of Jenny Lopez. Many thanks. What I'm about to say now, from here on out. The least thing is, I don't want to make anybody feel bad. I've already said this once, and I noticed that I could say that I was wrong, I could say that I wasn't, who knows, that only the future will tell. But it's something so delicate, what I'm about to say, it's so delicate that I would prefer not to say it. And this whole week, aside with what happened with Alea, it resounded in my mind, it just didn't leave me in peace. And today I said, well, I'm going to consult Leslie if I mention this or not. If she says a resounding no, then that's the sign that I should not mention it. And precisely Leslie said, well, if you think so, and if it's your mind and heart, then mention it. So here it goes. I was hoping not to have to say, because I hate to talk about this. It's the truth. I hate it. Because it could be misunderstood. And I want you to understand it well. I've once explained it well. Then later I explained it in a different way to conform my mind and maybe yours also. And today I have to be able to go back to explain it in the very same way as before, because that's the way it is. It's difficult to understand. It's not my words. Matthew 24, 15 and on, it says, therefore, Yeshua is speaking to his disciples. Actually, he's speaking to us. Therefore, when ye see in the holy place the abomination that maketh desolate, that the prophet Daniel spoke about, he that readeth understand. If Yeshua said, he that readeth understand, because it's written in all the versions, it's difficult to understand that he's speaking to somebody that says, he that readeth, let her understand, because they weren't reading, they were just listening. Either he said that or he said it in inspiration to Matthew when he was writing this. But he says, he that readeth, let him understand. It means that it has a profound application of something that is not understood at a simple eyesight. That's why it says, whoso readeth, let him understand. It's not explaining to, it says, whoso readeth, let him understand. If you understand what you're reading, then you'll understand. If you're not, then you're not going to understand it. And whom do you have to understand? Prophet Daniel. We clearly have decoded in a majestical way and unique that there isn't anything else. What the abomination that maketh desolate is, and what the temple is. The temple is the human body. The abomination that maketh desolate is an abomination to the human body, the temple, the human temple, and that was to implement from 2019 with an abomination called the cup of wine that then became actually a mark, because it's a whole package, a mark that was injected in people. That's a complete abomination that has its components that shouldn't be there. It's already an abomination to put things in. It's the same thing as if to say, put swine into a temple, a Jewish temple back in that or a serpent. It's the same thing as if to add a substance directly into the blood with something that's abominable to us. So then the abomination that maketh desolate, now it's a poison, it's something filthy in the temple, to put something into the temple. I'll place you once again. Therefore, when ye see in the most holy place the abomination that maketh desolate that the prophet Daniel spoke of, he who's worried, let him understand. The abomination that maketh desolate, to be understood, notice what happens. Then they who will be in Judea, let him flee into the mountains. What is Judea? It's like Babylon. What is that? To start to separate oneself completely from the system, to not believe absolutely anything, and also not to depend about this system. We can't go into any mountains. It makes no sense. It's all parable. Let him which is on the housetop not come down to take anything out of his house, neither let him which is in the field return to get his clothes. Now here comes the very difficult part, and it's hard to understand. And woe unto them that are with child, and to them that give suck in those days. If Yeshua would not have said anything about this, then we should not have to explain anything. But there is a time that there is a cutoff time. And Yeshua, the message he's trying to give us, it's a warning message, so that when the moment get here of the abomination that maketh desolate, to not have children, nor to be suckling. Because if you have children from that point on, or you're upbringing them, it'll be a woe. It's a woe. It isn't death. It's a woe. It's a true suffering extra. A woe. I interpreted it for 2011 in an emphatic way, saying, you know what? We already know what's coming, even if we didn't see abomination. When we thought that the abomination, what the Adventists taught us, it was the worship of Sunday, whatever, just absolutely whatever. But it makes no sense, because it's from then on when ye see the abomination. You understand what I'm saying? When ye see the abomination, when ye see it, the abomination, that is. If you don't see it, then continue to have children, upbringing, live in Judea, do whatever your pulse want. But when you see the abomination, that's the moment of attention. Flee from the system of Babylon. Flee to different places. Unattach yourselves from being attached to the system. That is what he's saying. But once you see the abomination, not before. Once you see it. And it says, and once you see the abomination, woe unto them that are with child, and giving suck in those days. Because woe, why? Because it says, woe unto them that are pregnant with child, or that give suck in those days. But pray ye that your flight be not in winter, neither in the Sabbath day. For then shall be great tribulation, such as was not since the beginning of the world to this time, no, nor ever shall be. So then, it is a warning. In 2011, I said, don't have any more children. Don't have children. But then afterwards, we noticed that it wasn't the abomination time. It hadn't been fulfilled, nor the dates learned by the church and the interpretation that we had back in that time, which was a sweet book that became bitter. So then I noticed that I can't be teaching people to not have children, because all the children that were born from then on till now, they're 12 years old already. If they had listened to me, they would not exist. And they're already 12 years old. That's an interesting age already. And those that listen to me, maybe they could say, hey, I didn't have children. You ruined my life. I believed you. It wasn't the moment not to get married, not to have children. And I believed you. I believed you faithfully. Nothing happened, and you ruined my life. All my fertile days are over, and now I don't ovulate. All things could happen. It's so delicate what I'm saying. And then afterwards, I understood wrongly. I understood that this message was not for the sons of Elohim, it was for the rest of the world. And I say, why did Yeshua speak to them, woe unto them that are pregnant, the rest of the world? That it doesn't make any sense. This message is for the sons of Elohim. He's speaking to them and he's saying, flee from him. Who is he saying? To whom? To whom? Is it to the world or the chosen to flee from the mountains? It's to the chosen, from the chosen. Woe, woe of them that are pregnant. Woe, careful. And them that give suck also. Because it's going to be a bad time. You'll have pain. You'll have anguish. It'd be better that you would not have been pregnant. You chose the wrong moment in history to have children. Leslie, I didn't tell you to say it like that. That's what Yeshua's saying. He says, in the all 6,000 years, you chose the worst time when it's a cutoff time when the children will not have a main factor in what's coming now. Maybe they won't play any factor. I don't know. I perfectly well know that a child does not have the capacity to judge, even less to evaluate a situation, even less to integrate an army. I cannot understand it. If you want to understand it in your own way, that's fine. That's fine. But the children are not taken into battle. They've never been taken to battle or to be judges, because the children are not judges, not even of themselves. They don't have any experience. Yeshua says to him that conquereth. What can a child conquer if he's completely guided by his parents? What can a child conquer? He cannot conquer. One conquers when you start to conquer due to yourself, but not as a child, because it's a stage that you're forming still. So then would not want to be judged by a child, not 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, not even a 10-year-old. You can't be judged. He's a snot nose. What could he know? What could he know? Kid wouldn't know. Or do you want to be judged by a child? You would want to have experience, and I wouldn't even want to be judged by a single person. I want him to have experience. That's when Paul gives his advices to the husbands and the wives, is the one that he should not give advices to the husbands and the wives. I remember when Armando would give advices for how dad has to be a dad when he's never been a dad, so it'd make us laugh. One takes certain advices, but it has no weight, because since I, with my experience, I've brought up my children, and I tell you to experience, that has weight. But if you don't have any children, I'm going to tell you how to be a good dad. But hold on, be a dad first. So then first, the children, they have a role that's unknown, and what the end of the world will be. I don't know what it is. So then this is something, Yeshua is speaking to the chosen only. And the chosen say, he that is in. He's not talking to us from Babylon, he's talking to the chosen. He that is in the housetop, do not descend to take something. And he that is in the field, don't come back to take his clothes. And woe to them that are with child. There, Yeshua changes completely and says, I'm going to speak to the women now that are going to suffer. Those from outside, poor things. Woe unto them. The same thing to be pregnant or not. They're all going to suffer. Same way, the grandmother's going to suffer just like as much as the mother, or not. So then, talking about a specific point that's very, very specific, that in the last final part of the world, when he gathers together a group of judges, that group of judges is a group that I could say that is mature. So then he says, look, when the tribulation come, them that are pregnant and given suck, they're going to suffer a little extra. Harsh, whoa, what? It doesn't say. What? It doesn't say. So then, my message, I want it to be the most soft as possible. If you believe that it is true, because it could be all a lie when I'm preaching, and you're here because you like the way I speak. Could be. It could be. It could be. It could be that you're here because you're waiting to see what happens. But maybe you have your doubts. You have your doubts. You still believe that Jesus will come, some being that is not the Almighty God to save you, or in the clouds with little angels, and he's going to fight against the beast. And he's going to fight. Maybe you think that. But also you say, but he's right, what Christian says, because tell the truth, this whole world was already human level, always at a human level, and it's what the scripture says. So then, it could be a dichotomy, always in a fight of false thoughts. But I could be wrong in what I'm about to say. But if I clearly see the abomination that took place exactly in 2019, from that date on, we should not have one more child. If it's true what Yeshua says, and if it's true with the application that we give. If the abomination is within 5 years, let's suppose that we're all completely wrong, and we're going to go up until 2032, then the abomination will be given in 2028. Just an example, 2028, then this has nothing to do with the abomination. If our application is a lie, or it's a bad application without being a lie, just a bad application, then it's a time to have children. If the application of the abomination that make it desolate in the temple is just as it is in 2019, just like the prophecy marks after the 70 years of Babylon, the fulfilling generation, it's not a time to have children because they're going to suffer. Woe. A woe is a woe. It's woe. Not just those that are pregnant, those that have little children. I can already see it. I can already see it. Absolutely, I can see it. That's why I don't want to speak about this, because it's not my problem. If I were in your position, if I was in your position, I'm going to say something completely stupid that then later it's going to be difficult with Leslie to repair it. Not to repair, but to fix. No, because Leslie says, don't say that. But if I were, oh no, it's difficult. If I were to understand this message and I were simple, I would not want to get married with anyone. I would have to be an idiot to look for a girlfriend right now. Just right now. I'll tell it to you for real. My mind is not yours. I have my mind that is very clear and very focused. If I focus the abomination, I unfocus everything else. I unfocus everything else. Just like that, I unfocus everything else. No matter about the hormones or any dog shit out there, I unfocus because there's an objective, a war to be won. You're going to become the Messiah of the world, and you're thinking about looking for a girlfriend, a boyfriend. You have to be out of your mind. And I tell the truth, I could not understand it. But I could not understand it. You understand whatever stupid shit, but I cannot understand it. When my mind is fixed in something, it's fixed in something. And I'm going to look for an objective. And any deviation of my objective, it'll be a deviation that will deviate me from my objective, which is the Mashiach. It'll deviate me. What if Yeshua would come in and say, and he liked Mary, and he says, yeah, I'll come back. Kids, guys, I'll be back. I'm going to have a little romantic adventure here, and then I'll continue with the plan. Just imagine that. Let's go back a little bit. No. So then I personally, and I repent of everything that I'm saying, I'll repent later. And yes, because it's things that I should not have to teach you. It'd be better that it be born out of you. What is the objective of your life? What is it? What is the motive of your existence? To get married and have children? Okay, then get out of this army. If that is the objective of your existence, the objective of this army is to get to the objective of being kings. So then all that stupid idiot about the hormones and the search, it deviates you from what you're focused on. And why am I speaking like this? Am I a crazy idiot that have vision? No, because I see the abomination that maketh desolate. I take the words of Yeshua seriously, unless I'm wrong that there was never any abomination in the temple, and it's all stupid shit. And that everything is just stupid, and that Israel is not the fig tree, and that it's not 70 years old, and that we're not close to the 6,000 years, and then of course we're close to the 5,000 years, and we have a whole bunch of times left. And your objective is to have children, to have a wife and have children. It would be your objective. You have no other objective. But now our objective, our aim of the LVE, of the Mashiach, is only to have their objective. It is one soul mind to have that objective. Those who don't have that do not belong to us. When Gideon took 10,000 or 20,000 that went out to war, they all left and only 300 were left. The 300 had an objective, said, who got married? or he is on a honeymoon. Okay, okay, get the fuck off out of here. I don't want you here. Oh wait, I wanted to fight. No, no, because you have a wife and you don't have a wife, or if you were within the 300 that were married, one that was recently married. He says, no, you're not here to fight. You have something else in your mind. You're thinking about stupid shit, about your romance that is natural and I went through, but you're in your honeymoon. You cannot fight. There was a rule in the Torah that those that are married, recently married, you could had a 1 whole year of not going to any war. If it was a war within your first year of getting married, you couldn't go because you were no good. You couldn't do good because you were in the stage of the honeymoon. So then, if a war is coming here, the final war, but not just a war because we have to fight, it is the dominion. He takes it from all this creation per se. You can't have a divided mind. What is your objective? The abomination, did you see it? That's the only thing that should matter. It is called, for when ye shall see in the holy place the abomination of desolation spoken of by Daniel the prophet, he that readeth, let him understand. Then, once you see it, then let them that in Judea flee and fuck off. That's what it is. And he that is looking for a girlfriend, stop looking for a girlfriend. Concentrate in what's happening, because now we're starting into the final stage, in the stage of no return. There's no return. There's no return about this. It is this, or you're a part of the other group. That's the way it is. Gideon had 20,000 and only 300 were left because they have the clear objective that they said, no, you know what? I'm not going to kneel down to drink water and refresh my face and then I'll rest a little bit. Out with those. He kept the 300 that were so focused that they did not kneel. They were standing and they took the water as they were walking. That group is the one that arrives. The rest, those that are recently married, thinking about the birds and the bees and the relationships that they could have, that group, those people do not enter into this selection. And 300 with Gideon is not a prophecy which is in a Bible and took place that way. Who could care less about it? That stupid story. No, it's a prophecy. It's of the final time. It's a prophecy of a guy that had so much power that almost without fighting caused to be destroyed a whole army that was 1,000 times bigger than that little group. So then, what does this mean? It means that it's a prophecy of the end. It's many connotations. What am I arriving to with this? And I should not have spoken about this. I told Leslie, no, just I know that I know myself. I can't speak softly. The thing is that I'll tell it to you now. If I am correct, that this was the abomination of desolation, then all the mothers of children that are pregnant and thinking about something else, they will feel a woe. I have to teach it, and I felt the obligation to. I felt the obligation to teach it, because if I don't teach it to you, who the fuck will teach it to you? What did you expect for your show come and say, hold on, stop, focus on what's happening, or else what the fuck are you doing here? This is a group of fanatics. If you don't understand what I'm teaching, then it's a time for you to go. Go and fuck off. Just fuck off. Because this group has something in mind. That's why when I see, it's just hard. It's difficult for me to teach this, because it's difficult to teach this to the youth. Because the youth, all they have in their mind, their hormones, and they're going pumping. They're looking for a match. It's not a time to look for your match. Because just imagine, if all this is given in the time that it should be given, what time is there to have children? What can you do with a recently born baby? Tell me, what could you do with a baby? What could a baby do? What would a 1 or 2 year old kid do? I don't want to say about it. I don't want to get into problems. I don't want to get into trouble. If I speak, I get into problems, big trouble. But the words of Yeshua says, woe unto them that are with child and that have Give suck. What does it mean? All of you get your own conclusions. Just get your own conclusions. Your own conclusions. It is a time. It is a time of focusing all our attention in something. And that even if it would mean that the days are eternal and nothing absolutely ever happens, this prophecy will be fulfilled. Even if it takes 1 year or 2 years or 3 years. It's not a time to diversify your attention, of changing your attention. So then you could stop and think, no, I'm going to look for a girlfriend, I'll get married, but I'll pay attention. And then your hormones make you think, no, it's better that we're, in twos when the tribulation, you didn't understand shit. Just like that, you didn't understand shit. If you're barely in twos, then you're out. And that was like with Gideon. It's not my fault. It's not my fault of what the scripture's saying. I'm not saying it. I'm telling you what Yeshua's saying. When you see the abomination of desolation spoken of by Daniel the prophet in the holy place, when you see it, flee. When you see it, change your plans. When you see it, it's not a time to be looking for a wife. When you see it, it's not a time, I want to have a son. Because you're going to suffer. And I'm not going to say anything else. Look, I'm not going to say anything else. That's what Yeshua says. I don't want to exceed in my words. Okay. Can we go on to another subject? Did you want to add something just in case? Completely. From the moment that we now know that the whole poison is in all the injectables, how are we going to bring a baby down? If they inject it to you before you saying anything, here, if I have a baby here in the hospital, I can't take it out unless he's marked. How do you take him out? Tell me, how do you take him out? Exactly. Should we add anything to my words that are so sweet? Anything else? No? And always I repented of having said in 2011, do not have children. I repented. But maybe if I was, what if I was right? That at that time there was a cutoff for all those that are here be adults. Well, because they understand this clearly. They understand this clearly and they got married. I'm going to say something else. I'm going to say something else. I'm going to say something else, and it's going to sound like a fucking mother. Just like that. I'm going to say something else. They don't tell you. They don't tell it to you. Your parents don't tell you. And you get bad ideas. It is better. A son, you look for it. A son doesn't just come by surprise. If it comes by surprise, you're an idiot. You're a fucking idiot. A son or daughter, you look for it, you search it. If you get a baby because it was an accident, you're a complete idiot and a complete fucking idiot. Those are my words. So then, if it's not clear, if that is clear in your mind, then we should not look for children at this time. Is it clear what I'm saying? More clear? I don't want to clarify anymore. It's clear. It's clear enough. Okay, fine. Okay, good. Well done. Well said. Maybe. And it's something that I said the other day. Remember, they asked me, and is it not a time of? I didn't want to say it because I don't want to say it. I know myself. Once I open my mouth, who can stop? I can't even stop myself. I can't even stop myself once I open my mouth. I can't stop because they start to flow. That's why I said the other day, it's not a time of or blank. Fill in the blanks. It's not a time to look for a partner. It's not a time to look for a match. We're before a brutal fate. And you're going to look for a match? You got to be a fucking idiot. It's also not a time to get married. Not looking or getting married. It's also not a time to have children. Those three things. It's not a time of or also nor of the other. If you understand my message, you understood it. If you a lot didn't understand it, maybe you have to listen to it now. I don't know. Tell the truth. And if I'm wrong, then I'm sorry. If I ruined your life for not having children. You won't be the first or the last, and the earth is pretty much populated. And I'll get to the Babylonian system, stop having children, look for all the methods not having it. We're a whole quantity. I'll get to the plan of Babylon. Let's stop the production. We're already way too much. Your son will be born in a very hostile world, a lying world, and to top it off with pharmakeia, with poison, with a toxin. So then let's stop having children. Stop. Let's absolutely stop. Okay. That's all that I had to say about this. Nothing more to add, right? Well, I mean, nothing. I'm going to shut my mouth. I want to say something else. I hope that I didn't break your heart to many parents, proud parents of their children, all the rest. Maybe you lose it all. Maybe. I don't know. I don't know. Look, I'm not saying, but maybe the sons, you're going to lose them all because we have an objective. If there's no children there, the prophecies come riding and not a baby there. But you already know it's normal. If it's normal, think about it. And if you think no country sends a baby to the battle, right? Exactly. And where are going to be the mothers with babies back home? That's the way it'll be. That's the way it'll be. If you're a mom and you have babies, you can't be in a group. You can't. Just like that. You can't. It's my word. It's my word. Okay? No, but I'm referring to those that are mothers now that have little children. There's two options. I don't want to say them. Or something happens, or something else happens. Once again, what did he say? Yeah. I mean, there's two options. Either something happens, or the other happens. That's the way it is. But they cannot integrate mothers with babies into an army. That's clear. It's what Yahweh's saying. It's not my vision. I'm trying to teach. Don't get angry at me. Don't get upset at me. I'm trying to teach the sweetest possible words, the most understandable words what Yeshua said. Woe to them that are pregnant and giving suck in those days. Says, whoa, why a woe? Well, there's a woe. It doesn't say anything else. There's a woe, woe. So then, if we mentalize that, Yeshua has the option of separating the children. Let's say it very clearly. Separate them, put them in a kindergarten to be taken care of by somebody. So then the mother knows that the time, if Yeshua considers that mother a judge, then says, you know what? I'm going to take care of your children. He that heareth, let him understand. He says, I'm going to send them to a daycare. Don't you worry. They're in a daycare. They're in a daycare. Just exactly. Heavenly daycare. Don't you worry. But now, if I leave him with you, you can't do what you can do. You can't. And if otherwise, then you both go into the daycare. Those are the two options. It is clear. Either only the children go into the daycare, or you go into the room of mothers with children. I didn't want to say it, and I said it. That's the only option there is. In my understanding, it's not that I'm going to... No, I mean, I could never do anything. I'm telling you what Elohim does. In him is power of dividing things in him, right? Do you understand what I'm saying, right? It's harsh or not. That's the way things are. And if we prepare, it is what it is written. And if we prepare mentally, when it takes place, then we already have a reason of saying, okay, yeah, it was necessary. You suffer, you're going to suffer because it's a woe, right? It's a woe. But you have the motive of why. You have the motive of why. Okay. Okay. Time to go out to look for the moon. Let's change radically of this subject. 46 minutes, and I already have an entire subject of whatever. Time to go out and look for the moon this Monday. Today is the 28th. If you have any question about this, don't ask me. I surprised you, right? If you have any question about this, don't ask me, because I cannot answer anything. If I say this was going to happen, it's like I'm dictating something, and no. No answer will come from me if you ask me. And what do I do? No, don't ask me. What am I going to do? You have to ask you, what did I do some years ago? What I did last year, 2 years ago? Ask yourself that, not me. Me, I have this prepared mind from 2011, a focused mind in what I have to do, focused in my mission, focused in the plan that Yahweh gave me to execute, focused 100%. I don't deviate, not to the left, not to the right. I don't deviate. So then don't ask me. Don't ask me. Ask yourself and ask Elohim, but not me. Just like that. If you ask me stupid shit, and I have a child, don't ask me. Don't ask me. What do you want me to do? What do you want me to say? If I were Elohim, you already know what I do. If I were Elohim, but I'm not Elohim, who guides everything, right? We are Elohim, but not the creating Elohim. If you were to ask me, no, I'm going to say what I would do, but you're not going to like it. So then I'm going to step out of that because it's not my task. It's his task. He's the one that chooses, right? He's the one that chooses, that calls, that designs, and all the rest. If it would depend on me, I would send all the children to daycare, all of them, and I say, just wait here. When everything is calm, we'll bring them back. At that age, the way they are, you're not going to even notice. Hey, guys, you're not. It'll be all like La Bomba, an excellent time. Why do you want to see what's going to happen? Which is blood everywhere. And aside from that, you're going to get impressed. What could the mind of a child have? No, I'm going to have you watch movies here. When anything happens, then I'll go bring you back. And that's it. It's over. That's what I would do. But I'm not the creator. And what age? No, I'm not going to tell you. I'm not going to tell you because already my mind, I get into trouble. If I speak, I get into trouble. He that can understand, let him understand very well. But there's a woe. Just remember that. There's a woe. Oh, woe. Well, time to go out and look for the moon. Will the moon come up this Monday? In other words, tomorrow's Sunday. Tomorrow's Sunday. When the sun goes down, it becomes Monday. And Monday, when the sun goes down, it's the 30th day. So then there's no time. We go out and look for it. Of course, we're going to see it. But if in that chance that nothing happens, no one sees it, automatically we pass on to the month of Sivan, which is the third month, because we're on the 30th day. So then on Monday at sundown, the moon will see it clearly, and that moon gives beginning to the month of Sivan. In the month of Sivan, we have Shavuot, and precisely the following Sunday, not today, but in 7 days, when the sun goes down, it'll become Shavuot, a very special date. I could say, and do we wait? I don't wait for anything. Look, I don't wait for anything. If Elohim wants to surprise us and do whatever he wants, let him do what he wants. I don't wait for absolutely anything from him. Nothing. Just like that, nothing. We could say, I hope that day, the power, just like the Torah, the power of the Pentecost. No, I don't expect shit. Just like that, I don't expect shit. Nothing. So then it'll be a Shabbat, like whatever. The day that he wants to do something, we'll see about that. Okay, from here on out, I didn't ask permission to Adriano Matsuyama, but today I'll ask him, Adriano, give me permission to pass the audio, and I'll pass it right now. Thank you. Because Adriano is Japanese, and maybe in the Japanese culture you have to be more careful. So then I'll ask you to permission, Adriano, please let me present the audio that I'll present now. Oh, yes? But maybe he says now, yes. Adrian Matsuyama, let him present himself to, yes, you can show the audio. It's because maybe say yes. Says yes, but he's not live. He hears it later. It's Japan. It should be live. How are you gonna miss out of the eternal truth live? Maybe he's looking for a girlfriend. Maybe he's all colors. Okay. Thank you. Thank you, Adrian. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Because I wanted to write to him. I forgot to write him yesterday. I'll stop doing what I was doing and I'll write to Adrian for him to give me the yes, and I missed out on it. I said, okay, fuck it, all to hell. Okay, what I'm gonna show you, Adrian received the ring. He was waiting for it many times. He wrote to me this. I'm gonna give you this, show you this audio. I hope that it comes out well. If you don't hear Adrian's voice publicly, because I'm gonna stop my audio. First time I'll do this here. I don't have any control to pause or anything. The message will be complete, like that whole, and I put the picture of the invitation that has a lot to do with the message. He's gonna speak in Japanese. Right, if you can't hear immediately when you see the image of the rings of the invitation, you see it here. Say we can't hear, because I don't know if you're going to be able to hear it. I believe so. In my calculations, you will hear it. Okay? So then let's go ahead and hear it, the whole message, and then later we can chat about it. And the first thing I'm going to do now is to cut off my audio. 1, 2, 3. And here it goes. Hello, Christian. Here is Adriano from Japan. And I'm very happy, very happy because the rings have arrived. They are now in my hand. And I'm very happy, very happy. It is the most valuable and meaningful gift that I've ever had in all of my life. Something very precious. For it's the first time, Christian, that we have a physical gift from Yahweh that we can have in our hands. And this week, I was very anxious rather, that the rings arrive, and it took almost 9 days, right? Very quickly, it was very soon. It seemed like 3 months to me of so much anxiety that I had. And while I was with all that anxiety, I did a search online to see a little bit more about silver, and I saw that silver in nature is something very, very scarce. Pure 100% silver is very, very rare, and the more the pureness of the silver, the value of the silver is way higher than gold. This is interesting, and I also saw that in nature it is known as white silver stone. And obviously, when I read the word white stone, we know that there is a text in Revelation which says that a white stone, and I started to meditate on this text of the Bible in Revelation that says, he that hath an ear, which I believe that it is the wife, only the wife, let him hear what the Spirit, the husband, saith unto his wife. Him that overcometh what? Yeah, him that overcometh the mark of the beast. Him that passed the test of 1335. Him that waiteth and arriveth at 1335 days. A period of the mark. Him that overcometh shall I feed him the hidden manna. And we know that the hidden manna, it is the bread that descended from heaven. Something that is hidden. How could we say this? There is a Pesach, a celebration of Pesach, of the bread that descended from heaven, which is Yeshua. There is a celebration from Pesach, which is hidden there in between 1290 and 1335 days, which was what we celebrated some time ago. Him that overcometh shall I give to eat from the hidden manna, and I shall give him a little white stone, a ring, a silver white ring. We needed the word silver there, a little white silver ring. And in that little white stone, a new name. Obviously, it is a symbol of marriage, and precisely when there is a marriage, the wife receives the name of her husband, a new name. And we clearly know that in the ring we have the name of our husband, YHWH Ekhad, which no one knoweth except him that receiveth it. Obviously, in a marriage, only the wife knows how valuable, how meaningful does the alliance band mean. So then, which no one knoweth except him that receiveth it. Interesting that him that overcometh, him that arriveth until 217, 1335 days, shall I feed to him the hidden manna and understanding, I don't know, of a period of a hidden Pesach, and I shall give unto him a little white stone. Him that overcometh shall receive a white stone, a little white silver stone, something physical that we have never had in this ministry, something physical from Yahweh, a physical, so meaningful, a gift from Yahweh. And the most interesting part also, Christian, is that him that overcometh, him that arriveth, waiteth and arriveth until 1335, him that arriveth unto 217. And precisely this text is found in Revelation 2:17. The seven churches, which is the bride of Yahweh. And what's interesting is that the entire gift, everything that it says in Revelation about the seven churches, there's something interesting that it says, him that hath an ear, let him hear what the Spirit saith unto the churches. Him that overcometh shall not suffer a harm from the second death. Him that overcometh, him that arriveth until 1335 days, shall not suffer a harm from the second death. And then it says in Tathara, him that overcometh and shall keep my works, him that overcometh, him that arriveth until 1335 days and shall keep my works until the end, I shall give him authority over the nations, and he shall rule them with an iron rod, and they shall be broken down like a clay potter's pot, just like I've received it from my Father, and I shall give him the star of the morning. That's incredible, because the ring is a symbol of a king, a symbol that you are receiving the authority upon the nations. Him that overcometh, him that arriveth unto 1335 days. And then afterwards it says, him that overcometh shall be dressed with white robes. We need a little bit more people there that are going to receive the white robes, like you have taught the two witnesses. And I shall not erase his name from the book of life, and I shall confess his name before my Father. Life of life, we're going to give life, resurrect the two witnesses. But in order to do this, we have to have the ring of a king. We have to be married with Yahweh, to have his new name. And then afterwards it says, him that overcometh shall I make him a column in the temple of mine God. And never again shall he come out from there. Him that overcometh, him that arriveth to 1335 days, I shall make him a column in the temple of my God, and never again shall he come out from there. And I shall write upon him the name of my God, and the name of the city of my God, the new Jerusalem, which descended from heaven, of my God, and of my new name. Because I am now married, and in order to be married, I have to receive a ring, a white one, of white silver, of white silver, of a white silver stone. And then it says, him that overcometh, him that arriveth to 1335 days, shall I give him to sit with me in my throne. Obviously, in order to sit in his throne, he has to receive the ring of a king. Just like I have conquered, and I have sat with my Father in his throne. Interesting, Christian, and precisely when it speaks about the little white stone, it speaks that it's in Revelation 2:17, him that arriveth to 2:17. Thank you. I have no words to thank you, Leslie, Angelina, and Brian. And there we go. That was the audio. Spectacular message. Spectacular. First of all, Adrian is a person that understands the message very profoundly. Very frequently so. Very frequently, rather, he writes comments and he sends me audios of things he understands, which I find to be fantastic. It's someone that really goes into depth from all the teachings of the eternal truth, and he relates one thing in order with the rest of the scripture. And second of all, Adrian, being Japanese, he speaks better Spanish than a lot of you. He has, yes, of course, with the show in Argentinian Spanish. He's practicing Argentinian Spanish. He will speak it to perfection. Way too many. And it's from 2011, of course. And so then, how great that Adrian speaks Spanish. If I have one of you give a message, and let's see if you speak that well. So then, that's first of all. Second of all, many thanks, Adrian, for the spectacular message. I took the liberty to show it to the whole world because I found it to be a fantastic message. It's always happened to me, it's happened to us, that the prophecies are being fulfilled and we don't notice. We don't notice. We absolutely don't. Once we passed the story, then we noticed what we did, what we fulfilled. This was born, that of the ring, in a way that's absolutely organic. It came to mind for me to give to Leslie, to Angelina and Brian, and to myself a very special memory made out of silver, which I had it be designed. No, I didn't. I designed it myself. I had it be made. And once I got it, and it took its time, I gave them as a present, and they liked it so much that spontaneously, the day of our anniversary, precisely, an anniversary gift. It had to do with weddings. With a wedding, it's a wedding present. Spontaneously, possibly so. It was Leslie that one that gave the idea. I said possibly so because it's the most probable thing, but in a spontaneous way of saying, "Oh wow, the whole rest of the lineage of the Eternals, when they see it, maybe they'll want to have one." Should we offer it to them? First thing I said, no, it's too expensive. These guys are more rats than anything. They don't want to pay for anything. It's difficult to give some tithes and offering. They're going to say, no. A ring. They say, how much is it worth? I said, I have to offer it by the price that it is to send it and everything, at least to cover at least $200. I said, no, I would have to be crazy. They're not going to want to pay for it. Why? Why should I offer it to them? But either way, she convinced me and said it'd be a good idea. Those who want it, that's fine. And those who don't want it, that's fine. It's not that you're selling. You're offering something that has no, it's invaluable. It has no price. Leslie told me some will want to have it. Others, maybe you're right and they won't, but some will want to have it. That is why we decided to present it as something without even thinking about absolutely anything, not prophetic or anything. That's how prophecies have to come. Those are the invitation. Leslie wanted to highlight that the original have the owner of the... Mine says Leslie, because I belong to Leslie. Leslie says Christian. That of Brian says Brian, and that of Angelina says Angelinas. They also have the one that says YHWH, because that came later. For example, the one that I'm using now, it says YHWH. Of course, I have the advantage that I'm not a rat like you, and I bought me many for me. So then mine, since I wanted to use it in this finger, and in this finger, this one enters, which is 13 or 14. In this one, I use number 12. Since I wanted to use it in this one, I used the other one. One that says Leslie, and I have another one that says YHWH. But the originals that existed in all the history of this world, a ring that says LVE is with the name Christian, Leslie, Angeline, and Brian. The rest says YHWH. Not thinking about anything that is prophetic or anything. I offered it to you. It took you some time to get the idea. Some still say, how much is it worth? No, I can't pay for that. It's a mental process. I should not give my opinion on that, but the thing is that I had not noticed of the text that Adrian is quoting. I know that someone of you said, I didn't even pay attention to you. Because when you say that, you say other stupid shit and didn't even pay attention. Until Adrian made me see this point. I had not even seen it, not even considered it, nor taken it into relation. I know that you're going to say, I placed the text, I read that text. But not even with that, I related it. I said, oh, what a chance I didn't relate it. Now, with what Adrian sent me, he made me see that actually there is a absolute fulfillment, just like that. Whoever wants to see it, that's fine. It's the same as in the Great Tribulation. You want to see if the abomination started, you're not going to want to see it there. Okay, you're also not going to want to see the fulfillment here. If you see the abomination of desolation, if you see the abomination of 1260, 1290, 1335, then you really see that everything is hand in hand, that white stone had to come. Of course, all the scripture is concealed in a way that is very, very difficult to understand. So then, when Adrian mentioned, and this text is in Revelation 2:17. I couldn't even believe in 2:17 is the text. It's not any text, it's 2:17. We see Malachi 2:17 that says, where is the Elohim of justice? But in Revelation, the last book of the scripture, 2:17, nevertheless, 2:17 says that they who conquer, I shall give to eat of the manna that is hidden. What is the manna? Manna is food. It does represent Yeshua, but it's food. What is that food? The teaching. The teaching of the scripture that is hidden, that no one has. Only LVE has it. No one else. Who the fuck is that think that they are the Mashiach? They say it's the anti-Mashiach, Antichrist. It's an egotistical person, a demon, perfectly well. Christian, to go and tell them I'm the Mashiach, they're going to say, but I mean, it's nauseous what you're saying. And if you tell them I'm Lucifer, even worse. Even worse. So then, that hidden manna, it's a doctrine of teaching that is received only by some. I've taught you that the 7 churches are simultaneous and they are all applied during this time. And we are part of the 7 churches. The 7 churches will also be a part of those who follow the Mashiach. But of course, we came from the 7 churches. We went through the experience of the 7 churches, and then we divided from the 7 churches, and they also represent the rest which follow the Mashiach. But of course, I've already explained that. But for it to be notably Revelation 2:17, that was some of the things that really caught my attention that Adrian mentioned. 2:17. I said, nah. I couldn't remember it. I had to grab the Bible. I said, nah. Maybe he said, you know what, I was on 2:17, this message, it's for the church, of course, and then below you're going to find, no, it's a very exact text that says 2:17, I shall give you a hidden manna, which is a doctrine that no one has, and I will give you a white stone. But what's a white stone? I always thought a white stone, it's a little dog shit, a white dog shit, where I'm going to stick it into. I'm going to throw it out. I'll put it up somewhere. Why the fuck do I want a white stone? Tell me. To keep it in my pocket? Never made any sense, that white stone. I always saw it as some dog shit. You're going to give me a white stone? Now give me a mansion, give me something that's good. Not a dog shit stone. Why do I want a white stone? I know that you maybe never thought about it that way. Maybe you said, "Oh, that'd be fine with a white stone." Not me. I said, "What the fuck is a white stone? That's what you're gonna give me, a dog shit white stone that is a new name written that no one knows but those that receive it." But when I related it with a jewel, a white jewel, stone, because silver is a stone and they're metals, and stones are composed of many metals. So then I understood that in the covering of the scripture, when Yahweh decodes everyone so that no one understands anything, only those that have to understand things, there I understood that it was not a white stone, it was something that upset me, but it's a jewel, it's a ring, and he doesn't give it to me so that I put it up somewhere, but so that I have it on me. And what else can he give me that I could wear that represents a king? Because a crown, I don't want a crown. Go shove it where the sun don't shine. I'm going to use a crown. I mean, are we going to... It's the most ridiculous thing, a crown. I see a guy with a crown. I said, what a ridiculous... Why don't you grab that crown? That crown, and then you stick it in your mother's house. That is what it makes me say about a crown. I'm a king because I have a crown. Take off that crown, you idiot. Now, what else does it make a king a king? What I read to you, a king, and the power of the king is not in the crown, it's in the ring. Because Joseph the Pharaoh said, "I'm going to give you the ring, not a crown." What is the uncle of Esther, Marduk? Mordecai, he was given a ring, not a crown. So then the power is in the ring. Daniel was given a ring. Daniel was given a ring? No, I mean, whatever. Daniel, I don't know, whomever, one of those. I've already read all the cases. That doesn't matter. The thing is that he's given a ring, not a crown. A ring, not a little stone. Here's a little stone. What the fuck am I going to do with a little stone? I'll give you a little white stone. It's a code. I'm going to give you the symbol of a king, which has a name. What better than a ring that has a name that the world does not comprehend? What is the name that the world does not comprehend? YHWH Ekhad. That name is not comprehended by the world. They don't comprehend it because they comprehend that it's three. They don't understand anything, absolutely anything. So then, and this has a relation with something else that I thought about reading it later, but I don't know if I'm going to get too advanced. I'm going to read it to you now. Because the brutal relation of Revelation 2:17 that says, "Him that hath an ear to hear, let him hear what the Spirit saith unto the churches." Who is the Spirit? The Spirit is the eternal truth. That is the Spirit. I've explained it to you 1,000 times over. It says, I'm going to send you a counselor. Here's the counselor that counsels you of all your stupid shit, that counsels you and teaches you the truth. There's no more consolation than this. Or however you want to mention it, if you didn't like the word. But this is the Spirit of truth that will come to the world. He that hath ear to hear, hear the Spirit. But if you have an ear, if you don't hear, then you hear the Antichrist. If they think they can hear something, but they hear and they think it's the Antichrist. And understand it. But he saith unto the churches, not just to hear, but to understand. He that heareth, to him that overcometh, magnificently so Adrian related this with he that overcometh, he that arriveth to the 1335. Because we're in that date of arriving, not arriving. Wow. He that overcometh, he that arriveth to 1335, I shall give him. I could care less if I gave it to you a little bit later. That doesn't matter. It's a gift. I give him of the manna that's been hidden in heaven. But of course, he's already given to him already. All the manna is what the Spirit says in the eternal truth. That would be the manna, the doctrine, the food. What is the manna? It's a food. It's the food that the eternal truth gives. A unique food, absolutely different to all the rest of the world. Not just will it give you the manna that already gave it to you, but something physical will come. And just like Adrian said that I didn't even notice, this is the first physical gift of Elohim because it's something that's physical. It is a jewel. I have a written name within, no one sees it, but those that wear it, and if they would have it there, they would not understand it, but the one that bears it, it has all those characteristics. And it has some letters that they don't even understand. It says love. Maybe they say it says love. Love. It's like love, oh, how pretty. The idiot that wrote it forgot the O, just like the way you write. Any of you would write love, write it like that because you write whatever. So write love, it's just, oh yeah, I missed the O. I think it's love. Oh, how pretty, love. It doesn't say love. It says the eternal truth, a hidden name. And within it says another name. It says YHWH. And what is YHWH? It's everything that we understand. Not just that Yahweh is one, but that Yahweh is what the people believe to be Satan. That Satan does not exist. And Yahweh is the only one that came to earth and made himself be called the Son of God when he was the only Elohim that there was. And the Messiah that comes to the earth is not him, but it's a group of human beings. All of that is compressed into the name YHWH because YHWH has all the doctrine there. If there's only one God, there can't be some idiot angel to rebel, of course, that wanted to have a throne like him. Stupid shit. Absolutely misinterpreted. There could also not be a divine son that from heaven he wants to send him. So then all of that is concentrated in a name that is understood by the one that has this ring. Because they understand, first of all, LVE, and they understand YHWH. It cannot, nor will there ever be, a fulfillment that's so clear and magnificent of the white stone. And you thought that I was going to send it to you when we're someday in heaven and say, hey, kids, you overcame me. That's great. Here, I have this little stone. So then some stone and says, what about this? Yeah, it has a little name here, name written here. The fuck do I do with this stone? When was he going to give you that stone? Because we don't understand the prophecies. If I tell you that the abomination's been fulfilled, it's been fulfilled. And that's the way I see it. And I'll focus on what comes next. I'll focus on the stupid shit that all the humanity has been focused on. I'll unfocus that from all that. Even Yahweh gave us a message, even if it would seem insane and stupid, the passing away that I just told you about, passed away in the second month of Yahweh at 17th day of her life. You think it's by chance? I don't believe in chances. 17 days in the second month of the Hebrew calendar. Is there chances? So then, is there chances? But these are not chances. So then Yahweh, maybe with this, if it would seem harsh and insensible, sent us a message to everyone saying, this is not the moment, and what will take place from here on out is this. I don't know. But going back to the ring, and I know that maybe I'm saying something that it's harsh for the parents, but if they see it, it's a prophecy and a blessing. If you see it correctly, the way I see it. Now, this white stone, it's a prophetic fulfillment. And already, when we advance to a certain point, who of you that now listen to the Spirit will try or perceive in your mind that the God Creator will give you a white stone? Who wants a white stone? Anybody in the chat wants a white stone? A piece of a white stone to be given to you by the Creator? Or would you want to receive a symbol of power? Because that's what it is. A stone is not a symbol of power. You do agree, right? This is a symbol of power. It's white. Why? Because silver is white. When gold, they give something that makes it look like silver. They call it white gold. This is white. And it is a part of a stone, and it has a name outside and within that no one understands. But what other fulfillment do you want? Maybe in your idiot mind of some of you say, but I paid for it. You didn't pay for shit. I give it to you by mercy because if I want to, I don't even sell it to you, not even for $1 million. And some of you had the stupid audacity, because or else I wouldn't. Could you send me the mold? Make it be. Have them make it here. You think that you could have a fake? You want a fake? You want something? What do you call something that's a fake? More a vulgar name in Mexico or in Central America. They call it chafa, something fake. A copycat, a copy. Do you want this or the original? The thing is, who gives it to you? Who gives it to you? Listen to it. I'll read it to you once again. Revelation 2:17. Him that hath an ear, let him hear the Spirit saith unto the churches, to him that overcometh, unto you, the churches. To him that overcometh will I give to eat of the hidden manna, and will give him a white stone. Who wants to touch, try actual manna? It's dog shit, but this is all real. And I will give them, it says, give them a white stone. I'll translate it the way it says, a silver ring. Literal like that. But no one can understand it, except for those that understand it. And in the stone and in the ring shall there be a new name. A new name. What is the new name? First of all, the first new name is LVE. This is a name, a new name. It's never been used. It's LVE. That's a new name. First of all, the other new name is the combination of YHWH and with everything that it means. But the name that is engraved are both of them LVE and YHWH. It says, and in the stone shall there be, in the ring rather, in the white ring shall there be written a new name, which no man knoweth, saving he that receiveth it. I'm reading it in the New Living Translation. It says that in the ring, a new name will be written. It's not YHWH. Repeat it to you. That YHWH has to be in the Torah. What is the new name? I'll repeat this again, so it's clear to everyone. Is somebody responding?
No, they were just commenting that the name of Aliyah, her second name, Shanta, means precious stone.
I knew it. Okay, it doesn't matter. What matters is what I'm teaching you. Do not misunderstand. The new name is not YHWH. That name is written in the Torah since the Torah has been given. You do agree with that, right? Deuteronomy 6:4. What's it say? Shemah Israel, YHWH Eloheinu, YHWH. That's it. It's over. It's written there. That name, you're going to receive it now. The Jews have it. They all have it. What's the new name? The new name is called LVE. The name that's never existed in humanity. The name of the Messiah, the eternal truth. And within, it's engraved the author of the humanity of creation, Yahweh Ekhad. So then, I will give unto each one a white ring, and on that ring shall be engraved a new name that no one understands except for the one who receives it. When I noticed the depth, it was in this ring that I'm using. When I noticed the depth that it had, this act that we did, that was inspired by Yahweh, the creator, of course, that we did it completely between Leslie and I, and Angelina and Brian. I noticed that the brutal thing that we got and achieved, which was to give the white stone concealed to everyone. There cannot be any other fulfillment. There cannot be. If the only one that can be of the abomination of desolation, it is what we saw of 2019, the cup of wine. And if later we have the abomination of desolation so clearly applied, all that, Israel and the fig tree is on their 70th year, and we are so close to the end of times, and the times have to be short and all the rest. So then, the 1260, the 1290, and 1335 were fulfilled. Then This this white stone, if you believe all the rest, it is the last fulfillment there is, and nothing else. Very interesting because it's all that it says. A white stone, right? Which is not this, but represent the whole group. Okay, I had told you. Exactly. I had told you that it has in relation with the revelation. Look at this part that Adriano did not relate it, but look at this. Look at the text says. Anyone with ears to hear must listen to the Spirit and understand what he says unto the churches. To everyone who is victorious, I will give some of the manna that has been hidden away in heaven. And I will give to each one a white stone. Okay. I want you to understand something that you have to understand. The one that gave it to you was LVE. In other words, Leslie, Angelina Bryan, and my person. Not Yahweh the Creator gave you this. Yahweh the Creator is not going to give you that white stone. The one that gave it to you, here it says it's Yeshua. And Yeshua is being represented by the eternal truth, and you are a part of. But the origin of these rings of this white stone does not have the name Yahweh had. It has the name of 4 people. 4 messengers, Christian, Leslie, Angelina, and Brian. 4. Same thing as what it is in the text of the invitation of today, if somebody put 2 and 2 together. 4 angels tied by the Euphrates River. At least before ending, I'll explain that to you because who knows? I'll explain that at least. But pay attention. The original ring doesn't say Yahweh had. It says Christian, Angelina, Leslie, and Brian, and they signed the certificate. You can get a fake ring, but it's no good. It's kind of like if Joseph made in China ring, but it's still good. Wow. No, it's no good. If you were to tell me, I don't have money to buy it, then you don't deserve to rule the world. Because if you were to listen to me, you would go out to the street and to ask for money. You'd go out to the street to work in something. And aside from that, but from the moment that you already stop and say, I won't order it because I don't have the possibility to buy it, I'll tell it to you now, you don't have any possibilities then to be a king with that thought. Yeah, with that false thought. Because a king does not act that way. A king says, no, I'll order it and I'll pay for it later. I'll see how I pay for it later. Like also there are people that don't know what they have in their mind, and they've asked me, I don't want you to write me again, and they're clarifying. I'll clarify it now. They've told me, if I were to pay for the entire ring, would you send it to me first? I already got upset by that question. Half of you have not paid for the ring, and the ring is sent out when I receive it from the jeweler. I don't know that it's either paid or not, or even do I know that you'll ever pay for it? You think I'm stupid? I know. But the ring is sent when somebody orders it. I order it, they give it to me, and I send it. Paid or not, that is in the least that I could say. How could you ask me if I paid for all of it? Do I have a priority of receiving it? Wow. You insulted me with that question, that stupid mind that you asked that because you are that way. And not because I wanted to insult them. Because you have that mind. If you ask me, is because if it were to be paid for you, you would put it priority because you paid for it. Not I. Absolutely not. I don't care if you paid for it or not. Don't you understand? Half of you will pay for it. And I know they won't even pay for it. Do you think that I don't send it? What a stupid fucking question. And those that asked me, and the one that asked me, is a stupid person. Wow, I didn't think about saying this, but it angers me. But you think Who the fuck do you think you're dealing with? No, they paid for him. I'm gonna send it to him first. Wow, stupid shit. You offend me. It's only yours. You have a lot to learn. You have a lot to learn. What else did I want about the ring? The relationship with Revelation 19 reads as follows. And in the stone, or in the ring, shall be a new name that no one comprehends aside from him that receives it. In other words, aside from him that receives it, no one can understand it. Once you received it, you can say this. And in their hands, or in their power, they have the white stone or the ring. They have a written name that only he comprehends. It's fine. It's right. Okay? Because since I'm the one that sends it, I tell you, once you receive this, only you comprehend what you have written here. Not your mom, not your aunt, unless you're part of the nucleus. But only they comprehend it, not the world. They, not the world. But it is written here, no one understands aside from him that receives it. But once you have it, you don't say them that receive it, but it says, and they have in their power an article, a ring, a stone, or however you want to say it, that has a written name that only he understands. They've received it, and when he understands, what does Revelation say? So you see what it says. Revelation 17:11. Then I saw the heaven open, and a white horse was standing there, and its rider was named Faithful and True. For judge it is fairly and wages with righteous war. His eyes were as a flame of fire, and on his head were many crowns. What did he have in his crown? Many crowns. All this is the same vision, but it's different of what we're about to study in the sixth trumpet. Same, but different. Why? Because it's not only one person, but it's a vision that represents something. This only person represents a group. That's why it has many crowns. You're never going to see a person with many crowns. Now, if they're not crowns, I know that it says many crowns upon his head, but it is the vision that it says. But what it means is that I saw a person that had many jewels. Many jewels actually is a group of people and that have jewels. They have crowns. What is the crown? Just like the white stone, it's concealed. How do I translate it to you? Just like this. His eyes were as a flame of fire, and on his head in his hand, a ring. They all had in their hand a ring, a white ring. And he had a name written that no man knew but he himself. Exactly. The same phrase, if you compare them. In the crown, there was a name written that no one knew but only himself. Him that receives it, what does it say here? It says here, and a new name shall be written there that no man knew but he himself understands. So then the very same character that receives this crown is the Word of God. That has, in the representation, it has many crown, has a name that no one knows. So then it's absolutely brutal, if you understand what I just told you, brutal. And to top it off, it's in Revelation 2:17. 2:17, precisely when the 1335, either Elohim is playing with us and makes us see these supposed coincidences that they're no longer coincidences because it's too much. All that we have studied, it would seem to be a great coincidence, but it's not a coincidence for Israel to be 70 years old and for an abomination that maketh desolate would come, and for him to stop the whole world. And then after that, they're going to add a toxin in the veins like hail and fire. It's not coincidences. And to top it off now, add the white stone that says, it comes in 2:17, Revelation 2:17, him that is overcometh. What dates of 1335, Yahweh knows is who is they that will overcome. It says the Mashiach will send to all them the ring to convert them into Mashiach. I've told you a long time ago, not even knowing why, I will have Not that I told you. I said I could imagine and understand that I have for every one of you to ordain you as the Mashiach. I understood it. Either give you something. Remember, I said something like that, right? It's going to have to be in person. Without having understood anything, I understood it that way. It's not that, oh, because I listened to Christian, he's never going to have a relationship with it. No. Exactly. That's what said. Someday, we're going to give you something. We're going to give you power in person. Exactly. I've told you, remember, some time ago, it would seem to be crazy. And then afterwards, it's in a study, of course. And then I said, no, why did I say that? Why did I say that? But it would turn out that I never thought that you were going to have an article touched by us many times with a card that certifies, signed by our hand. That means that you possess this white stone that is sent to you by Christian, Leslie, Angeline, and Brian. It is the fulfillment of a prophecy. Of course, of course. But what I'm trying to say is that it enters into the coincidence that all this comes up in the time of the 1335. It's absolutely incredible. Look, the 1290, when are they fulfilled? I'll tell it to you now because you're going to forget when precisely we passed from Adar 30th, the 2nd, to the 1st of Aviv. That's when the 1290 were fulfilled. When we had a year switch, no one had received a ring there. That also, yes, exactly. It could be. It could be that I'm going to give you even more. I'll multiply it even more. No, not dollars, but actual LVE, which is it's worth even more. We're gonna make our own coin. We're gonna found say royals. I don't know. We'll name it something. We'll name it later too. The coin, official coin in the world, with a value that can never be depreciated. That it just goes up in price. Because all the coins, there has to be, I think there has to be some coin for buying and trades. So then the bank will pass from these sons of bitches to the new government. Exactly, from the black rock to the white rock. Exactly. So then I want to tell you, well, this was fulfilled, and now I see it so clearly without having planned it. Like I always say it, I also didn't plan that I was going to give the new Germanic medicine in the Yom Kippur. That's what I'm trying to say. Did I plan it? I didn't plan it, and that we were going to do judgment. No. It's in the day, the idea of Yahweh, because Yahweh inspires us, and it comes to the 1260 days. So then this of the white stone, it's going to seem so crazy that actually, if we're living this, we're living it. You could comprehend it. It's difficult to comprehend. That of the royals, I'll give it to you later. They'll come soon. Approximately, we have sent 200 rings. Just so you know, 200 sent. I think it was 198, something like that. 200 rings sent. And it's both ours and yours. Given. Some of you, that it's not arriving yet. And maybe it'll never arrive. I don't know. It doesn't depend on me. Hold on a minute. It does not depend on me. Yahweh has all the power for the ring to get there in one day, yes or no? So then I send it. Some say, but I didn't get it. If it doesn't arrive, then we'll send you another one later. And if that one gets lost, let's take Leslie's words. We'll go in person. Exactly. 200 rings. I have 240 rings ordered already to the jeweler, and he's completely upset. He's sick and tired already. 240 rings. ordered. I can't send anything this week because I have nothing to send. I don't have anything to send. No, this week that's coming up, I don't have nothing to send. That's what I'm trying to say. I don't have anything to send until he gives me. What he gives me, I can send. And I have the priority for those that paid in full. And you pay it by PayPal, I have more priority, and it depends. If you add $50 for the shipping, I have more priority paid. I'll give this one first. If you don't pay for it, then you're gonna have to wait and wait and wait. In the mind of a stupid idiot, that would happen. Not in my mind. I know. There's things that people don't want to hear. If you get offended by what I say, it's because you're a stupid idiot and you're not willing to learn. Not even you have the respect of who you're speaking with. But I mean, wow. If I were to have the nobility and the justice that I have, I could not be here. How are you going to want to dare and ask the guy that teaches you the truth, the spirit? Ask him, you have priority if they pay for it? Oh, what? I could send you fuck off to your mother's cunt, but I don't tell you learn. Careful how you speak. Careful how you speak to me. I'm not at your level. It is clearly clear if you ask me some stupid question like that. What would you do? Are you going to do this? Wow. Wow. Absolutely. Wow. It surprises me. You get me upset and I have to get rid of that shit that you ask me. You have not known. You don't understand. I'll ask you. Just a question to the parents now. Is it in my idea for every children of LV to have their ring? I think so, and I'm willing to send it to you. I don't care what age they have. I think that it's disrespectful for you to not have bought it to your for your children, because it's a mark. Then later, if your son or daughter, whatever happens, doesn't matter. You bought them the ring. The jeweler told me, I asked him, what is the smallest one? He said, number 5. Number 5. So then the babies, the 1-year-old, 5 years old, 6 years old, order a 5. They can't use it, then they can hang it. But they'll have the stone. They can hang it from a nice necklace for your children. Of course, it is clear. You want to order a big one? Order a bigger one. But number 5 would be a very good. They could use it until they're 10, 11 years old. You can. Well, of course, you should think about your children, but of course, in your think about your baby. No matter what I said at the beginning, that is, don't think about this. Is oh, he's out already. That's the way I see it. Or you don't believe what I'm saying? Do you understand it? Of course. Of course you understand it, I'm saying. So then if I send 200 and have 240 ordered, and when they come I have to send them, that adds, give or take, it adds 440 rings already asked for. 440. The judges were 700. Where are the judges? We should have 700 orders here. Without even counting children, where are the judges? It was easy to declare, but when you have to make a commitment, there's no money unless there's commitment. This isn't about money. I'll repeat this again. It isn't about money. It's a commitment. But of course, give it to me and I'll pay it for it. And those that don't want to commit, I don't want them here. Why should we want them here? Then you're going to commit? No. If they're faithful in the little, it'll be placed on many, over many. So then the commitment is there. So then 700 and some judges, 716, I think. They voted, yes, let Babylon burn. We want to tell them, okay. Now you have this symbol, and I told it to you, not with what I just said now. There's no need to ever speak about this. Never again. Never again. But how embarrassing, because those judges were not judges. 440 orders, there should be 700. Maybe we do get to the 700. Maybe now you see and say, okay, let's go ahead and order them. and it won't depend on me. I'll send it in. It depends on Yahweh if He wants to give it to you. In other words, I'll say it. I send it to you. If Yahweh wants, you receive it. No, but it's the post office who guides this world. Don't be an idiot. Who guides this world? Nothing happens in this world if Yahweh says this is not going to happen. It's not going to happen. And if Yahweh says this happens, He gives a command and it passes. If there's a storm, He stops it. If He doesn't want for there to be a storm, He makes it. If He wants for the sun to stop, He stops it. But if He has to make a letter to arrive there, He can't. Now, don't make me laugh. It could go through the worst thieves that steal everything. They receive the envelope. Oh, it doesn't have anything. Just go ahead and give it to them. That's what happens. So then, it doesn't depend on me. It depends on Yahweh. And we'll see. And we'll see, just like that. Don't ask me about it. I don't know. I'm not the post office. I just send it. And I gave you the tracking number because maybe some idiot that says, did you really send it or did you just lie to me? I mean, I know you're capable of asking me that. You don't think they're capable? If they ask me if they can make a fake one, they ask me, can I make a fake one? Not one, but many. Could we make a mold and send it to me? Some other said, could I make it a picture and send it to a jeweler so that I can make it? Wow. Yeah, go ahead, made in China. Let's see, where do you get to? You see the parable. You see the parable of the wedding has to do with this. It says that in the parable of weddings, a king invited everyone, and then later, it's a parable, right? Those that were invited, it says, let's see, if you have the ring, I'll send it to you that have rings. You found one that didn't have a ring, and you? He made any excuses. He said in the parable, it says that he was mute, but I'll give you the excuses in his mind. I didn't want to commit. I live, I don't know, in the Dominican Republic. I live in Colombia. I live in Venezuela. I can't pay for this. You know what $200 are? No, I just stood back. That's why the king says, take him out into the darkness, where is the crying and the gnashing of teeth. I was going to make a copy. They didn't give me the mold. I made one that looks like it. You didn't want to give me the mold. So then, in another one, we could say an excuse of someone else, and I ordered, but it never arrived. Oh, that one's harsh. I wanted to have it, but it didn't arrive. I don't know. Maybe that's not an excuse, but that's good. But those that didn't have the dress, out. They didn't have the ring, out. Just like that, out. I don't speak about the subject anymore. We're 700 judges in paper. Let's see how many we have. 440 have been given. It also doesn't mean that you have the ring, that you deserve it. Okay, there's also that possibility. Could there be or not? It could all happen. But I tell you, if you have your children, order them. Okay. I want to remind you that we have a spectacular service, magnificent, absolutely incredible, and free, that is called Angelina's Consult. Every time, she has more experience with every day that passes. And actually, I love when she says, there's a case that I heard like this, I solved it. And they're a lot better already. Oh, what happiness I get with that. Absolutely magnificent. Many thanks to those of you that send money for her. Every time you let me know. She's going to open a PayPal account. Once she opens a PayPal account, we'll let you know. If not, then send it to me or however you can, and you say, this is for Angelina, and I give it to her. Many, many thanks. And don't forget to consult with her if you have some sort of problem. Very well. Wow. It really got heated. We've been speaking for an hour and a half already. We haven't even started with today's subject. Shema Israel. Yahweh Eloheinu, Yahweh Ekhad. Hear, O Israel. Yahweh, our Elohim, Yahweh, one is. That is engraved in the ring. All that has anything to do with that, we understand it. If you didn't understand it today, then look for the previous subjects. It's not time for me to explain it to you. Very well. Proverbs 25:2. Glory of Elohim is to conceal the word, but it is honor of the king to search out the word. There are cases in Scripture where we have had the prophecy and then you have fulfilled the prophecy and they didn't notice it. That is what happens always. Because if we were to see it from before, then it would not be a fulfillment. It would be forcefully, I have to do that. I have to send it. Do you understand what I'm saying? It's so nice for it to be spontaneous, and then it says this was the fulfillment of this. Wow. Not even up until today can I believe it. Look, not even up until today can I believe it. I can't believe it. Just like that, I cannot believe it. Still, in my rational mind, it says this. Wow. So real. Could it be? Or are we all absolutely crazy? Because this is a white stone. Nobody, but in this world, it says nobody comprehends this except for those that use it and those that have it, and the owner of the ring. You're going to receive it. Those that conquer what? There are some days to conquer. What are those days? It's the whole process. 1260, 1290, 1335. 1335 is the apex, and it says, blessed are they that arrive there. But the whole process is there to conquer. And those that are crowned with this, it's difficult for me to understand. When I heard Adrian say that, I said, I cannot believe it. It is true, and I stopped to study about the problem, and of course, what are we going to do? It's by chance, just by chance, just by chance. Now there's no chance of that thing. Aside from that, no one wants a dog shit white stone. Who wants a stone? If you want a stone, send me back the ring. Send me back the ring, and I'll send you the white stone, or for Yahweh to send it to you. Just ask for him to send it to you by the post office, but send you a stone on your head, a 70-pound stone that he's going to send it to you. Here's my name, because you're an idiot. Because if you have any doubt that this is not the white stone, then send me the one I sent you. And Yahweh, ask him. You'll be stoned to death. Exactly. Well, absolutely well. And I hope that today, those that want to, in their whole lineage, to be covered with this, write to me. Write to me. Write to me, Christian Silva. You can write to me by writing to me. If I stop to speak with, I know many of you want to talk to me, to communicate with me by email. Everything is in the description of the video. My email is laverdadeterna at hotmail.com. laverdadeterna at hotmail.com. If not, my Facebook, but it's all below this video that you're watching. If you look for and show more, it's the whole description how you can communicate. But make the decision today spontaneously. You have 50 children, to your 50 children. Who cares? I'm going to pay for it. You'll see how you'll pay for it later, little by little. Little by little, but I can't. It's a commitment with Yahweh. Just like that is commitment with Yahweh. Very well. Here it goes. Where were we? Okay. It is the glory of the Elohim to conceal the word. It's completely concealed, like with what we just saw today. But it is the glory of the King to search out the word. It's so concealed that don't ever tell anyone, because maybe you have a Christian family member that says, you know what? Jesus gave me the white stone. He's not going to stop laughing until the fifth trumpet. That's when they'll stop laughing. But obviously, this is it. It says it as a name that no one understands. It has a meaning that no one understands. You see how it says? Because I want to read it again in the New Living Translation. I love that it says, everyone that hath an ear to hear, listen to the Spirit, and understand what he is saying to the churches. To everyone who is victorious, I will give some of the manna that has been hidden away in heaven, and I will give to each one a white stone, a white ring, a silver white ring, and on the stone, on the ring, will be engraved a new name that no one comprehends. So then, don't tell anyone what this is. If someone says, what does this say? Love? Yeah, it says love. But you need the O. maybe someone that I know that writes everything like dog shit. It says love. Yeah, it's a ministry, the eternal truth. Of course you could say that. Of course you could say that. For him to understand it? I mean, absolutely not. Very well. And you come to watch the videos, you know what he's going to say? I saw a false prophet speaking. Jesus says that many shall come in my name, saying that they are the Christ, and they'll deceive many. But we're waiting for Jesus in the clouds of heaven. Either we're going to be raptured or he's going to look for us, but he comes to fight with Satan and his demons. Jesus would win the battle against Satan, What are they going to understand? How are you going to make them understand? Nothing, absolutely nothing. Just like that. Malachi 2:17. Remember where you have the other one. Revelation 2:17. Can you believe it? Revelation 2:17 speaks about this. I can't believe it, but because it's not anywhere. Another one, supposed by chance, is not anywhere. It's in Revelation 2:17. If it were in 2:18, well, okay, that's fine. Everything coincides. But it's precisely 2:17. It's more than magnificent. 2:17, and now we'll go to Malachi 2:17. Ye have wearied Yahweh with your words, and ye said, wherein have we wearied him? When ye say, everyone that doeth evil is good in the sight of Yahweh, and he delighteth in them. Or, where is the Elohim of judgment? Where is the Elohim of judgment? Spectacular. That's why we have here today Mr. Shark. He's completely pissed, one, because I didn't buy him the ring. And he is, I don't know, he wants the ring. No, he says, no, you give it to me, I'll eat it. And then we have the octopus, one of the octopi, the son of the big octopus. And we have Eddie. Eddie's still here with the Argentinian flag. He's happy because Argentina played well against Australia, while Mexico was kicked out by the U.S. 3-0. How embarrassing. It was like, wow, and it wasn't 7-0, but just by a miracle. It's a disaster. What a disaster. Wow, no, don't get upset. I'm just playing. Guatemala won, right? We didn't watch it. But they told me that Guatemala won for the first time in their presentation. They beat anyone, but they could never beat, not even playing with the dead people from the cemetery. There was some spirit that they would pay. Guatemala never beat anything, never beat anyone. But today they beat Costa Rica. Well, Minton, he says, we wanted to go and watch it. He says, why didn't you go? Because they always lose. How were they? I didn't find out. You didn't find out. So ask Brian. Let's see how was Guatemala in the friendly. They won 1-0. It says what? The only time in history that Guatemala was to win, beat someone, and I missed out living 3 blocks away from the stadium. It's very close to Los Angeles. They played in Los Angeles, right? The power of the ring, if you were to go, it'd be 2-0, 3-0. You'll see how many rings they'd have. Slaughter them. Who was it? Costa Rica? They would slaughter Costa Rica. Wow, absolutely wow. The power of the ring. You don't know now. Maybe it doesn't have any power, but at some point in time, you'll receive it. Well, you'll receive it through. I mean, it's possible. Is it possible? It's possible. It's very possible. It's very possible. Through what product did Joseph receive power? The ring. It's completely. Do we disagree or not? Through what product did Mordecai receive a ring and people would worship him? It was a ring. Only the ring. And the rest I forgot about already. I forgot. Daniel, I can't remember. Absolutely, I can't remember. Okay. Where are we here? Malachi, where is the Elohim of justice? And this is here, fighting for where is the Elohim of justice? And you know that this question is a little bit senseless. I like to ask it either way. I like to bother Elohim. But this question has already been answered. I've explained this many times already. Malachi 2:17, chapter 2, which ends with that question, where is the Elohim of justice? The answer of Yahweh is, whom should I send my malach to? He shall prepare my coming. So then, the answer to that question, where is the Elohim of justice? The answer of Elohim is through his malach. And who's the malach? The chapter says it clearly, Elijah. That is him. That is the answer. Where's the Elohim of justice? It's in Elijah. Yahweh says it's Elijah. That's why it says Elijah is the only one that can send you the white stone. Who else is going to send it to you? He that hath an ear, hear what he says unto the churches. That question is already answered. Elijah was to make the judgment. Elijah that is represented this, he was going to do absolutely everything. Okay, very well. The invitational text, and I'm about to leave you already. It's so hot today. We're going to eat rice with meat, right? Oh yeah, it's something that Leslie makes that is exquisite. It's like this meat with lots of fried onion, right? And in Argentina, we don't eat it with rice. We eat it with noodles. Oh, also, right? Also, it's meat with noodles, right? Or noodles with meat. Noodles with minced meat. It's not so much noodles, but so many noodles as lots of meat. It's not sauce. It's not a tuco. It's not a sauce. It is the meat with the whole, all the flavor. I mean, how delicious. I mean, just imagine. You can't imagine. Kind of like, yeah, very delicious. I'm about to stop already. We've given you a lot today to make you understand about the white stone. But what else do you want? It is very, very, very many thanks to the intelligence, the collective intelligence of this. Because not only Adrian gives me things from his points of view, but many of you also. But it's an intelligence because there are things that I see, and you give me things, and you give me certain things. You make me see a text, and that is a collective intelligence, of course. And so I hadn't seen it at all. Even the message that was given to me 3-4 days ago, I hadn't seen it. I had read the text that you had posted, but that no, you didn't convince me. I needed more logic to convince me, and that's why Adrian came to convince me. Magnificent. I hope you liked his audio. What does the text say on the invitation? And the sixth angel sounded, and I heard a voice from the four horns of the golden altar which is before God, saying to the sixth angel which had the trumpet, loose, loose, according to the version, loose, the four angels which are bound in a great river Euphrates. And the four angels were loosed, which were prepared for an hour that they shall slay. What were they going to do? I thought they wanted to go to McDonald's to eat an asado, watch some sports. No, they were bound because they couldn't slay. So then the figure, because this is something, a figure that's symbolic, these four angels have a mission, but it is not allowed for them to do it until they are loosened. It's just, oh, my hands are bound. I would help you, but my hands are tied. Some would you say, well, I would want the ring, but my hands are tied. I can't do it. Because of the economical situation, it's not enough. Go out and steal. No. Go and steal smiles and ask for money. Go out and work. Don't be lazy bums. Go out and sell something. What do you have in your house? Go out and sell it. You have something valuable? Sell it. Offer something. Sell it. Work. Say, Yahweh, give me money. I need money. You see, I've told you the secret. Wow. If you don't have that will, how the fuck are you going to be kings? If you don't have an objective, how are you going to be kings? You have to listen to me. Yeah, I don't have anything. I don't do anything. I don't even comment. I don't even give like. How many fucking likes do we have now? let's check this. Let's check how many we have. Let's see how many we have. How many likes do we have? Oh, you surprised me. 299 likes. I hope there's 299 comments. It's just 299. 306 watching, 299 likes. It says 300 already. Not this one. I'll refresh it. I'm refreshing. 305. Okay, 305. Yes, perfect. 305. Oh, there's more than 300 comments. Some of you never comment on the video. You think that it says, let Madeline give us the 100 comments. She comments for all of us. Comment. Comment. Absolutely comment. You should comment. Nothing more. I loved it. Thanks for the study. I loved it. Thanks. Wow. Great. I hadn't thought about it before. Now that I see it, I want a white stone. Just whatever. Comment. Whatever. Comment. I was a miserable, said I don't have enough money. But now I do have money. Okay. I'm going to read the text. The sixth angel sounded, and I heard a voice that came from the four horns of the golden altar which is before God. The voice said unto the sixth angel that had the trumpet, loose the four angels which are bound in the great river Euphrates. And the four angels were loosed, which were prepared to slay the third part of men, for they had been prepared. Wow, these angels were prepared. They had been prepared precisely for that hour, that day, month, and year. They're bound. You see, when it says, my hands are bound, I would do this, but I can't. My hands are tied. Okay, to be tied is not to be able to do something, or not to have the means, or it is impossible for you because you don't have power to do it. You wish you could do it. You prepared yourself to do it, but you can't do it until they don't give you the means, the tools, the power to do it. You understand what I'm saying? It is to be tied, your hands to be tied. But when they loosen these angels, they loosen them, they have a mission. What is the mission? To kill. I'm not saying it. The scripture says it. Whoever these angels, four angels say, make your solution. Conclusion, they're already prepared. Of course, maybe or you behind don't visualize it. These four angels have to already be prepared, exactly. Mentally so. Prepared. Leslie says, maybe you don't feel that you're prepared, but in the moment, you're already prepared. That's what you're saying, right? Okay, very well. Now, let us study into depth what that text says. What does that text say? Very well. Seals, Trumpets, Plagues, Part 8. Part 8. The first seal, trumpet, plague, which is a sequence, seals, trumpets, plagues, talks about a mark. About a mark. Okay, I'm not going to stop and detain a little bit. I like to repeat it because I want to explain that text at least today a little bit, because actually I tell you, I'm about to stop already. But I already given you way too much in your mind. You have to have time to think things over, to digest what I told you, and to comprehend the solemnity and the magnitude of the time that we live in, and why things that happen, that take place. Very well. First seal, trumpet, plague. We can resume it in two words, the mark. Just like that, the mark. Big as a white horse appears, that has a toxin in his hand. He goes to conquer, and to conquer, and to conquer humanity. To impose a mark, a toxin, and then in the trumpet it says that it was produced as with fire and hail in the blood, and then it was a poisonous wound upon those that had the mark of the beast, the toxin, and that worship this image. I've already explained that. two factors that they have to have for them to have that. Okay, very well. Second, and that's where we are at. We haven't entered into this part. That's where we are. We cannot advance. But second, trumpet, seal, plague. Here comes what is the consequence of the mark. In other words, the peace is taken away from the earth. There's fights of one against another that hate to be altered of what the mark is or whatever. They start to kill each other. If it's so virtual or real, that doesn't matter. But it is the consequence of the mark. Third trumpet, seal. It's a judgment and division. A rider appears that has a black horse, and in his hand of the rider he had a balance, and it's a judgment. And judgment is precisely what the people need. And not just judgment. I'm going to mention this: judgment and division. Judgment and division. Why division? Because it's divided. The wheat, the barley, on one side, the wheat is too expensive. The barley is expensive, has a great, very great value. The rest of humanity, it is clear, because it is paid for 1 penny for 1 pound of wheat, and for 3 pounds of barley is 1 penny. But do not hurt the wine or the oil. The wine and the oil, which means life, the special life of a group, and the Mashiach is not harmed when the wheat and the barley will be harmed. In fact, they're sold. It's sold. Expensive, but it's sold. It costs a lot. So there's judgment and division. Fourth, trumpet, seal, plague. It is the testification and death of the two witnesses. Both the seal, the trumpet, and the plague talk about precisely, we've already explained it, it's not today's subject. Maybe next week we can add a little bit more, but because I like it, because it's something completely new. This is the hidden manna. Oh, the eternal truth is the hidden manna. And you have to listen to what the Spirit says into the churches, if you care. Fourth, seal, trumpet, plague, testification and death of the two witnesses. Fifth, seal, trumpet, plague. It is the resurrection of the two witnesses and of a group that will be enormous, which are them that have died, and now they will receive their reward. For example, the ring. For example, Daniel or many other prophets, just people that deserve to live in the 7th millennium. It'll take some time, like I've explained, and not so easy of resurrected where we are now. No, it'll take time. Of course, that's what we're doing well with time. It was time to receive the white stone. Even the very last one shall receive it, and maybe we'll start to see the effect. Okay. Seal. The 5th seal, resurrection. Absolutely. Which we've already studied. Sixth. It is the beginning of the war of Armageddon. I title it that way because I like the name. It's not the end of the war. It is the beginning of the war, because the war would continue until the 7th stage. In the 6th one, it is the beginning of the Armageddon war. And so then I'll read Revelation 6:2 through 17. Revelation 2001. First seal, of course. It reads as follows. When he opened the 6th seal, a violent earthquake was produced, and the sun was blackened like sackcloth, and the moon as blood, and the stars from heaven fell upon the earth, like the fig tree gives its green, unripe figs due to a strong wind, and the heaven rolled up like a roll. The people could understand that the earth is flat, whoever. And all the mountains and the isles were removed from their foundations, and the kings of the earth, and the great men, and the rich men, and the chief captains, and the mighty men, and every bondman, or in every free man, hid themselves in the dens and in the rocks of the mountains. And they said to the mountains and rocks, fall upon us, and hide us from the face of him that sitteth on the throne, and from the wrath of the Lamb. So then, the sixth seal talks only about a brutal reaction that has nothing to do, it's not an actual earthquake, it's nothing of the literal thing that says here, it's the relationship of the people when they go and see the wrath of the Lamb. Up until that point, they did not know about the wrath of the Lamb. They did not understand what the wrath of the Lamb was. And what is the wrath of the Lamb? Exactly in what we're about to read in today's text. Because this is the seal. When the seal is opened, this seal is the wrath of the Lamb. I titled it The Beginning of the War of Armageddon, of course. But the most important thing of everything that I've just read is that the people start to feel the rigor of the wrath of the Lamb. Because the great day of his wrath is come, and who shall be able to stand? No one. Except for 1/3 of the population, which it's most likely that it'll be behind the Lamb. Maybe some won't, but they'll be saved. It is the only ones that can and will stand. The rest will fall. And they'll be trampled upon, and they'll be pacified. To say it in the most delicate way, pacified. So then, in the sixth seal, when it is broken, the inhabitants of the earth start to feel the heat of the wrath of the Lamb. Revelation 9:13-21. It is the text, but in a different version. The text of the invitation. And the sixth angel heard, and I heard a voice from the four horns of the golden altar, which is before God. What version did we post it? It was a different version, right? Different version. I didn't want to say something. We added it in the version. What version was it? Okay, the DHH version. Perfect. In the DHH version, it says, I've already read it. Now I'm reading in the Spanish RV 1960. The sixth angel sounded, and I heard a voice from the four horns of the golden altar which is before God, saying to the sixth angel which had the trumpet, loose the four angels which are bound in the great river Euphrates. I'm about to talk about this, but I'll read on. And the four angels were loosed, which were prepared for an hour, and day, and a month, and a year, for to slay the third part of men. Very well. First of all, to loose is that the permission is given to them, and the permission is not for them to leave the river, it's all figurative, but rather to work on the function they have to do, which is to slay, to pacify. No longer to torture, because if we think about what happened in the previous trumpet, the fifth trumpet, it is the resurrection. When they are resurrected, the two witnesses and another group of people, and they're trained, and they form a part of an army. That army has permission to torture. We've read it. Do you remember? For how long? For how long? 5 months. But 5 months for what? To torture. It says that the men will desire to die, but they won't die, because the death shall flee them. But the next trumpet sounding, it's not necessary for them to torture. Now they can slay. Now death will not escape them. Death will come to them, which is different. You see the difference. The fifth trumpet, an army is resurrected, which can torture. And don't take it torture like actual torture, but rather like to speak to them and tell them, you're marked. And this is what's going to happen. And that is torture. Exactly. Anything is torture. to put up with your mother-in-law. It could all be torture. Don't imagine an actual torture. What you think torture is? No. It'll be psychological torture. I don't know. We're barely in the first one, but we're trying to understand. But then when I have any permission to kill, and in fact, it says that the death in men, it stops because it's a different time. But passing on to the sixth trumpet sounding, it says that they were bound before to kill. They could torture, but now they can kill. And not only that they kill, they have the command to kill. How much? A third. Not everyone, 1/3. Because there will be enough left for the last trumpet. That is where they end up annihilating the other third of the entire earth. Okay, very well. You understood, right? What I'm saying, okay. Now, the 4 messengers, what does it mean? Why 4? Why 4? 4, you think that it is 4 angels bound in the great river Euphrates. We related it once with Jeremiah prophecy. You think that there are 4 angels or messengers, 4 messengers bound in the great river Euphrates. No, because the Euphrates River now doesn't represent anything. It's in the Middle East and it's dog shit. And actually, it has nothing to do with today's prophecies. It has no water, it's dried up. It doesn't even have water. Just imagine little angels tied up there. If you want to go to the literal, it says no. There's 4 actual angels, and those 4 angels are gonna, when they are loosed, they're bound right now. But when God looses them, they're so evil, they're gonna kill. It says 4 demons. So, some say 4 demons. Some versions like it. It doesn't say that, but I like it. It says 4 demons. He loosens the 4 demons. Can somebody find it? Angelina, what was that version? 4 demons. That's the ones that I like. 4. It's not here. In Injil, it says demons. Oh, in English and in Spanish, we didn't have it. Okay, can you look it up? One that has demons. In German, it says the 4 demons. I mean, that's great. The 4 demons. I like it. I like it. 4 demons. Okay. Why 4? Why not 1? Why not 5? Because this is a symbol. It's such a symbol. Just like the ring, and it was white, and it was not a stone. It was a ring. It was a silver ring. It's all. The scripture is concealed. Concealed. So then, I'll decodify it for you if you want to understand it. First of all, the Euphrates River is the river that represents Babylon. It is the life of Babylon. In the ancient Babylon, the ancient one, a city, an enormous city, a city represented like the head of gold. It was a city that had life. Why? Because the Euphrates River went through the middle of the city, and they could have gardens, harvests, live cattle, because it had life. The Euphrates River was the river of the life of Babylon, the one that gave life. In fact, the word Euphrates means fructiferous river. That's what Euphrates mean. It sounds like fructiferous Euphrates. That is what literally Euphrates means. Fructiferous, because it gave fruit, it gave life. When the Medes and Persians came, they cut off that river and they entered through that river. And that's when Babylon fell, by the Medes and Persians. So then, in the symbolic prophecy of this actual Babylon of today, what could it mean? First of all, that is out of the real context of the river Euphrates, which is not the river. Euphrates is what gives life to Babylon. And if you stop to think, who gave life to Babylon? It is very clear. The beast of the earth. Who is the beast of the earth? The US of A is the beast of the earth. The first beast is Israel. It would seem to be slaughtered, but it has survived. And the second beast, the one that comes out of the earth, is the US, which is an integral part of Israel. It is the heart of Jerusalem. That's why the word USA is in the center of the word Jerusalem. Jerusalem. It's in the center. So then the heart, the life of Jerusalem equivalent to Babylon is called USA. So then the Euphrates River, which gives life to this whole dog shit system, is the dollar. Who gives life to the world transactions is the US of A. Who is the army of the world? That is without a doubt. So then the life of this Babylonian system is called USA. So then, which is the Euphrates River? USA. The one that gives life. So then we'll continue to decode. It says,
Now, in the Portuguese version, it says, Dizendo ao sexto anjo, soltei aos quatro demônios poderosos que estavam presos, arremados junto ao rio.
demonios, yes, demons. And the other one, in the TLV, says, release the four mighty demons. That's great. I liked it. So then what do we understand? Okay, Euphrates is Babylon. Babylon is Jerusalem. The heart and the life of Jerusalem, the one that gives life for now, is whom? The US of A. So then there are four angels bound in the US of A. At its riverbed, it is in the riverbed. So then, precisely, there is a reason why the eternal truth was born in Riverside, but it's all, you say it's all by chance. I mean, they can't be by chance. Riverside means the riverside. It says river side. Side is the side of the river. Riverside, where the one that had the Elijah, John the Baptist, would preach in Riverside, at the riverside, or not. In the riverside, exactly. It's all the chances that you could see. Where's the eternal truth? Where is it born? In Riverside. In Riverside, what does that mean? The central nucleus of where the eternal truth comes from. Is it four? Yeah, it's four. Absolutely four. I'll mention them. Christian, Leslie, Angelina, Brian. It's four. There's no more. The one that signed the white stone for you. You can believe it or not. It's up to you. I have a different version. It reads as follows. Revelation 9:13 through 15. Arcas Fernandez, AF is the version. Look for AF. I liked it because it says as follows. And the sixth angel sounded, and I heard a voice proceeding from the angles of the golden altar before God, and the angel that had in his hand the trumpet would say, loose the four angels which are incarcerated in the riverside Euphrates. It literally says, loose the angels that are incarcerated. Where? In Riverside. In the riverside of Babylon. In Riverside, next to the Babylonian River, or Euphrates, which is the same thing. There's no chance in this. You're also going to say, I make it coincide. No, not in the very least. Not in the very least. And more because of what it says next. This not only represents what I've just said. It is literal what I've just said, but it represents the entire eternal truth. In other words, it represents you. If you are of the eternal truth, you've understood this whole message. You are one of the angels that are loosed, that are bound, that are represented in four. It's not four. Actually, four is literal. They're bound in Riverside, but you are a part of this. And when this is loosened, it would mean that you're also going to be loosed. And exactly, but I'm talking about a group. Not only that they unified with them, it's a group. It's a group. They represent, when I say the verb of Elohim, the verb of Elohim is not one. It's the entire group. It's the bride. But represented is specifically here by four messengers. Four literal messengers. But within those four are you represented. It's the eternal truth. And which is the subject of all this It is as follows. Text 17. And the number of the riders was 200 million, and I heard its number. When we read the Bible casually, without understanding, without having the measuring rod, we don't notice something spectacular in what I've just read. In fact, the great, and I'll say the great for me, they're very small, presenters of the prophecy, like these that I'm about to read as now, just some parts. And we already started with this image, which is wrong here. This image was my dad's book. I've already shown it to you. I asked him because I liked it. It says Agustin Silva, a pastor, Agustin Silva. Renewed. He had the first version, which was from 91, renewed on February 1995. Apparently he bought another one. It says, that's why it says renewed. But since I asked him for it, with time, he wrote it to me for Christian and Leslie. With all my love for you. Buenos Aires, 2003. Dedicated to me and brought it to me. This book is a book which I used to love. It is from Mervyn Maxwell, an Adventist theologian of the Seventh-day Adventists. And it's wrong because look at, well, that the first rider, the white horse, is represented as Jesus. The first interpretation, and we have a very different interpretation, which is pharmakeia. But of course, in the Adventist church, it says it's Jesus, the message. It's Jesus, the triumphant Jesus. It's not Jesus. It is is crown toxin pharmakeia. That's what it is. Absolutely, that's what it is. But I'd like to read to you the ridiculousness that they believe in. How long have been 2035? The ridiculousness that the Adventists of the seventh day believe up until today. The rest didn't understand. The rest of the Christians don't even stop to think about this because they don't get there. They are in the spirit and that they're going to be raptured. But in Revelation, they don't even get into it because they don't understand the thing, so they don't even get into that. They said that's going to be for when the chip comes, and I don't know what other stupid shit. The chip is already there, way into their mother. They didn't even notice. They even give a MAC code. It's like in the phones, they even have that. And they don't go to review what this book says. The Adventists, at least, risk. And that is what I always liked, that I thought I understood the prophecies when I would study with this guy. This is the translation of the originals. This is Uriah Smith, one of the greatest presenters of the prophecy of the Adventists, of the years, of course, when the Adventist church began, of Uriah Smith. And I'm about to read, they interpreted clearly what I'm reading here. Who are these? Who are these four angels? If you think that it is insanity that I said four angels are Christian, Leslie, Angeline, and Brian, if you think that is craziness, what do you call the insanity that these guys says that it's the Ottoman Turkish army? That's not insanity, and it's already passed. And that they are bound, in that zone until they were loosed. I'll read it to you. I don't even want to read it to you because already I'm tired. I've already presented way too much energy on my part. I'll read it to you next Shabbat because it's fun. I like it. I want you to see that if you believe that this is craziness, it's always more easy to believe in an ancient interpretation that we cannot even discuss, and it's softer. Who are the Ottomans? The Ottomans that are the four angels. And they say maybe they're not even sure, the sons of bitches. They're not even sure. Now, literally, there are four angels bound in Riverside of Babylon. It is clear, like the white stone. We see things differently. Why? Because we have the hidden manna that they do not know. The hidden manna. So then, what's marvelous, the marvelous thing about this, I'll say it as follows. The fifth trumpet talks about an army of locusts that has resurrected. We do agree, right? But it's a key word. It has a key word, and listen well. Revelation 9:7. And the shapes of the locusts are not locusts. It's the two witnesses resurrected of the other group. Right, you understand? They call it locusts. And the shapes of the locusts were like unto, this is the important part, horses prepared unto battle. Remember this. The two resurrected beings in the fifth trumpet, the locusts, John also sees that they were locusts like unto, this is very important so that you understand what I'm about to explain. Actually, they were not locusts, and what I'm seeing, it was like unto what? Horses prepared unto battle. Very well, very well. Taking this into account, in the sixth trumpet, I know that this was never said. You speak about the same army of resurrected locusts is the same locust that here is called 200 million. But the people don't put two and two together because the theologians, they cannot even put two and two together. They haven't the capacity, the ability. So then they see a locust's army that had their mission for the Adventists. Locusts was Muhammad and the Islam, those were the locusts. And the army of 200 million of the Ottomans, another group. Muhammad and his Islam, the locusts. And Muhammad was the chief, Muhammad. And the other one, the four angels, are represented by the four. There they start to argue. It represents this, represents that. The four generals. And they say, no, it's probably the four kings afterwards. And they don't get into agreement. Not even the Adventists. What the fuck the four angels represent? But they represent the Ottoman power. So then, we're talking about things that are completely different. A locust's army, which are the Muslims, belonging to Muhammad. And the other one is the Ottoman Empire. Or the Turkish Ottoman Empire. Both things. The Turkish Ottoman Empire. And they don't comprehend that the resurrected army is the same army that appears in Revelation in the sixth trumpet. So then, remember what I just read to you that says, the shapes of the locust was like unto horses prepared unto battle. The shapes of the locust was like unto what? Horses prepared unto battle. So then, were they locusts or were they horses prepared unto battle? It says, I don't know. I can't agree. I thought they were locusts, but now I see it well, and they're horses prepared for battle. And there is when we go unto the 16th text of the sixth trumpet. 16 says, and the number of the army of the horsemen were 200,000. And I heard their number. What army is it talking about? What army is it talking about? It's talking about the very same army prepared for battle. Look at how it says, Revelation 9:16, Jerusalem 2001. In 2001 it says, and the number of its troops, of the horsemen, were 200,000. And I heard the number of them. Look at how it says in, I like this. You didn't pay attention to what I said. The fifth trumpet comes. And all of a sudden, they see them as locusts, and they said, no, actually, now that I see them, well, they look like horses prepared for battle. And then it says, and then later, I heard the sixth trumpet sound. And I heard that it said, the voice of the altar, loose the four messengers in Riverside. Where? In the U.S., Babylon, the heart of Babylon, and the richness of Babylon that feeds all the nations. They're bound there. It says, loose them. What for? That they slay a third of the men. And only them four? No, you idiot. You have the army of locusts. Those locusts that you saw, it says, now I'm going to tell you how many they are. And then it says, and the number of their troops. Whose troops? Are the four angels. The four angels don't go to fight alone. When they, it's the four angels are. Apollyon, the resurrected ones. The ones that resurrected the army, their hands are tied because they have a mission first to torture, whatever that might be. And then later, that mission, they have the mission of pacifying. This video is going to sound very... I hope they don't block it. Oh, this crazy guy, what does he teach you? I don't teach anything. I'm just reading the Bible. It is a movie of terror, science fiction, a thriller. A thriller, yes, a thriller. So then these four angels have an army. So then if they're bound, the army is already bound. It is not allowed for them to do anything. It says it was not allowed for them to kill, just to torture. They're bound to kill or torture only. So then, in this point in time, it says in the number of its troops. Wow. Those troops that those four angels have are those that are resurrected. But in this version, they risk to say something that is clear. It is the troop of theirs. It is as if to say the number of the troop of the four angels are. And it also doesn't say 200 million. It could be interpreted as 200 million, but absolutely what the Bible says, 2,000, or 2 myriads of myriads. Back in the day, a myriad was 10,000, so they said 2 times 10,000, 2 times 10,000 is how much? How much is it? Minto, you accountant, 10,000 times 2. 10,000, good, good. Good thing we have an accountant here. Good. 10,000 times 2, 20,000. Good, good. No, 20,000 times 10,000. Quickly. Quickly. 200 million. That is what the Bible says. 200. 20,000 times 10,000 becomes 200 million. That is where we get the 200 million. But actually the Bible says, I heard the number are 2 myriads of myriads. Does it make any sense? It doesn't make any sense. That is what John heard. You know what I heard? The one that has the measuring rod? The 2... What? Of course. That's why it has... It's right. Because you see, 200 million doesn't say anything. But if I read the original, it says 2... Of course. Who did we have to resurrect? The 2 witnesses who died. Those 2 witnesses that the beast kills. You have to resurrect it. But this time, that beast, it says 2, but become myriads. The important part there is 2. The rest, myriads of myriads, that's fine, but the secret is 2. The 2 witnesses die and they resurrect. So then this army is composed of 2. What does that mean? Composed by the 2 witnesses, you have to understand. Composed by the 2 witnesses, which are not 2, it's millions upon millions. First you have the 2 witnesses in the prophecy of Revelation 11. 2 witnesses. But now it says it is the 2, but actually it is myriads upon myriads. So the 200 million doesn't make any sense. As of 200, the 2 witnesses multiplied by thousands upon thousands. Did you understand? Or do I have to show it to you, Britain? I hope you understood it. So then, notice well, that is the army of the 4 angels. That's why I'll read again in this version of Jerusalem 2001, the number of his troop. Whose troop? Of the 4 angels. Of the 4 angels. The number of their troops of the chivalry was of 200 million, and I was able to hear their number. That's why it's so important for John to hear the number. He had to hear the number 2,000 upon 1,000. It wasn't for him, it was for us. The 2 witnesses converted to thousands upon thousands. Look at how it says in the New Living Translation, or the New Testament Bible to the day in Spanish. Revelation 9:16, the Bible up to date reads as follows. They should march, he's saying, they should march to the front of an army. Who would march? The four angels. You know what? That version, I don't know if I have it in this e-sort here. Let me check real quick. I don't know if I have it in e-sort, that version. Let me see. I have the New Living Translation. Let me see. Hold on just a moment. I have to find it. This one, and let's see. Where do I have it? If somebody can have it, give me the text of the two previous texts. If somebody has this one, write it to me and I'll read it. Here it is. I found it. And then let's go to Revelation 9. I found it. Revelation 9. Look at how it says in this one. No, it wasn't Revelation 9. No, it was Revelation. Yeah, 9:16 says. Okay, 9:16. Okay, I'll read it in this version. In the version of the Bible unto the day, and the sixth angel sounded, and I heard a voice that came from the four horns of the altar before God. It says, loose the four demons, powerful one. It says demons. It says, loose the four powerful demons that are bound next to the Euphrates River. In River says, those demons, loosen them. Yes, because the people see them as demons. They have to kill. Loosen those powerful demons bound in Riverside. Said the voice of the sixth angel. And those four demons, which were prepared precisely for that year, month, day, and hour, were left in the freedom to kill to the third part of humanity, and they would march in front of perfect. Already, those four demons, they marched to the front of what? They would march in front of an army of 200 million, of 2 million, myriads of myriads. So then those four powerful demons, and I already said who they are: Christian, Leslie, Angeline, and Brian, and the entire Eternal Truth. You're also a demon. In this sense of translation, because demon's a lie. It's a lie. I'm just playing. But these messengers, angels, and it says demons, they are in front of an army, the army of the two witnesses. They have their own army. Why? Because they were resurrected. They'll follow the Lamb whithersoever he goeth. It was bought or resurrected from the earth. They follow the Lamb whithersoever he goeth. They follow the Son of Man whithersoever he goeth. They follow the Mashiach whithersoever he goeth. So I love what he said here. Those demons that were prepared precisely for that year, month, day, and hour were free to slay a third part of humanity. And they would march before an army of 200 million warriors as soon as I heard them. And in vision I saw before me that those horsemen, and they wore breastplates of fire and of jacinth and brimstone. Oh, how pretty. I have to stop here. Blue and yellow. Wow. So there was a red part there. Like a red line. But it says blue. How pretty. Blue and gold. Blue and gold. Precious. Some were blue, celeste, spectacular. So you had both. And the heads of, it would seem, lion heads. And out of their mouths issued fire, smoke, and brimstone. By these three was the third part of men killed. By the fire, and by the smoke, and by the brimstone which issued out of their mouths. For their power is in their mouth, and in their tails, for their tails were like serpents, and had heads, and with them they do hurt. And the rest of the men which were not killed by these plagues still worshipped Satan, the demons. And those are the lies. And the silver idols, the pharmakeia, silver, gold, brass, and stone, and wood, which neither see, nor hear, nor walk, neither repenteth of their murders, and of their pharmakeia, their sorceries, of their murders and of their pharmakeia, nor of their fornication and their thefts. So then why should they kill? Because there's no, they have to, there's no other way. They have to put to rest, be resurrected, to be regenerated. There's no other way. They have to be able be reborn, literally. So then, I read this part because that army of horsemen of the fifth trumpet, which were locusts, but all of a sudden it says, but actually they seem to be horses. That number is the same army that you see in the six trumpets, and then the story continues. Just like we've been seeing from the first one, it's continuous. It doesn't change, or the zone, or the place. No, it's the very same story. Absolutely the same story. And more of this story that I'm about to tell next Shabbat, actually, because it is rather hallucinating when we compare it with those other things. But the four angels which are bound in river set represent the eternal truth. The eternal truth. And of the eternal truth, it'll have an army of the two witnesses, which are two by myriads upon myriads. They have to be prepared. This way, I don't see it, how it'll be so quickly to unfold. It'll take time. We're in the first one. We haven't completed the first one. It has not been completed. It'll take time. So then, with that on hand, we'll continue to give out the white stones. With that in mind, without any further ado, let us wrap up with a word of prayer. Beloved Yahweh, we give you thanks because you speak to us directly without any cover about the scripture. We clearly see what could be coincidences, what could be incredible things that have happened to us and are still happening to us and we're living in, and we are part of this story. But of course, it had to be this way. Your children, sons of Elohim, they were to be the very same one that developed the prophecies. Absolutely. We understand it, we comprehend it, and we understand that no one else comprehends it except for us. Just like the stone of the right ring, which the one that have it, they understand what it means and not the rest. All this we thank you for. Give us wisdom, give us intelligence, give us peace, give us understanding for what I said and what you said, especially of those that are pregnant and that are giving suck. We have want to comprehend up until what point and what meaning you said with those words and how you'll fulfill them. In the meantime, we'll continue to prepare. We are bound, we live bound in this Babylon, entirely bound, incarcerated, bound by hand and foot, and we cannot move, but we know that we will be loosed. And we are being prepared for that moment. In your precious name, and waiting for that day that you loosen us. Alleluia. A great big applause for the Argentum bride of Elohim. Semper Fi. Semper Fi. Let the laurels be eternal, and those worlds would resound forever. Because the laurels, we are achieving them, and let them be eternal. They shall never end. The laurels, which is the glory that we knew how to achieve. Crowned with glory and of silver, let us live. Alleluia to each and every one of you. Alleluia.